Dolphins. Temperatures 80 degrees at 4 o'clock here in Miami. Breezy, some cloud around, and still a chance of showers. Good afternoon, everybody. Tim Ryan and Terry Bradshaw here in Miami, and the Atlanta Falcons, Terry, coming in at 5-6-1. And last week, with Turk Schonert at the controls for the injured David Archer, shut out by San Francisco, and they gave up 8 sacks along the way. Coach Dan Henning says, can't let that happen here in Miami if they're still thinking playoff.
That's true, and one of the things that has to happen today for the Falcons is they have to do the thing they do best, and that's rush the football. They're the number 2 rushing football team in the National Football League, and today they're going against the number 26 ranked team against the rush, and that's the Dolphins. So it's a perfect matchup, and the kind of offense they need to generate is on the ground. Look for them to do it.
Well, the Dolphins on Monday night against the Jets got their rushing game going for the first time this season to go along with the passing of Dan Marino.
Well, Lorenzo Hampton with 148 yards rushing. They've only been averaging 94 yards rushing this year. Balance is something they've looked for here in Miami, but in the past the balance has been Duper on the right, Clayton on the left, Marino throwing both sides. Today, look for them to come out and do the thing they do best to win this game, and that's throw the football. Remember, folks, the loser is going home early.
All right, Terry, the Dolphins will have first opportunity. Ali Haji Sheikh, the former New York Giant, will be kicking off for Atlanta. He's replacing the injured Mick Luckhurst, not with a back injury. Ron Davenport and Craig Ellis are the deep men for the Dolphins to our left. And it's dropped by Davenport at the 10-yard line. Recovers and gets over the 15 to about the 17. Dan Marino will start the Miami offense with instructions from Don Shula. He'll be signed to a 3-year contract, and he'll face a Falcons defense put together by Marion Campbell, Mike Gann, the rookie Tony Casillas, and Rick Bryan. And the linebackers, Wilkes, Buddy Curry, John Rady, and Joel Williams. And in the secondary, James Britt will replace Crudip on the left corner, who's out with a calf pull. The rookie Robert Moore with Brett Clark and Scott Case. David Crudip not even dressed today, and on the opening play, Scott Case, the starting cornerback we just mentioned, number 25, evidently shaken up. Getting some attention here, even as we have just begun the game at the Orange Bowl. The cloud still kind of hanging around the Orange Bowl Stadium. This will be our final appearance in the Orange Bowl for this season, as the Dolphins next year will have a new stadium up the road, and will open that facility against the Chicago Bears in preseason August 16th. There's the incredible career record of Don Shula, firing up his troops as he has just signed, as we mentioned, a new 3-year contract to coach the Dolphins. And it's been a struggle this year. 6-6. The Dolphins on the verge of being out of the playoff picture. Dan Henning likewise struggling at 5-6-1 after a fine start against the weaker teams. Ran into quite a heavy schedule load, and now they are struggling to stay alive, but they're in a packed West Division of the NFC. We'll tell you more about that. First down, Miami. Marino intended for Mark Duper, overthrows him. And for the Miami Dolphins today, the running mate of Duper, Mark Clayton, out with a shoulder injury, and his place taken by the veteran Nat Moore. Hampton, Woody Bennett, the running backs, and Bruce Hardy, the tight end. Offensive line, John Giesler, Roy Foster, the all-pro Dwight Stevenson, Larry Lee, and Greg Cook, the former Green Bay Packer, at right tackle. And that line has had to undergo a number of shuffles since the beginning of the season due to injury. Just now, Coach Shula feels starting to get it together. 2nd and 10. Hampton. Lorenzo Hampton for 12 yards and a first down, Miami. He sprang it for 54 against the Jets on Monday night.
Key block by Jim Jensen, number 11, coming in making a crackback block. As you can see, a simple off-tackle play. Lorenzo reads it, cuts inside. Good job that time also by Larry Lee, the right guard. Now it's just open field running.
First down, Dolphins at their own 30-yard line. We are just underway on the natural grass turf of the Orange Bowl. Hampton again, and another 10-yard pickup for another Dolphin first down.
Dan Marino told me, Tim, before the game, he said, look for us to come out today and try to run the football. The thing that happened to us Monday night against the Jets by Hampton getting 148 yards has got Shula excited. But evidently Shula believes in Hampton, because look at this. A little draw trap. Good job, Hampton, breaking loose at the line of scrimmage. And then once again, he's in the secondary.
Dan Johnson comes in at tight end. Ron Davenport into the backfield, replacing Woody Bennett. First down at the 40-yard line. Davenport, and he plows for about 6. You know, Roy Foster said after the Jets game that, you know, we really wish the Jets frontliners had been in there because we were ready to play and we think we could have done well against them. And he said, we're fully aware that they didn't have their first stringers in there, but the Miami offensive line right now feels that they can run against anybody. And so far, they're running against one of the better defenses in the league.
Well, when you think about the Jets, the one thing you'd like to be able to do is run the football because of their outstanding pass rush. So they were not testing, didn't have the people up there to test the run, but today they've got the first liners in for the Atlanta Falcons.
Ryan made the stop for Atlanta on the last play, leaving 2nd and 4 Dolphins. Loose ball on the pitch out to Hampton, and he's dropped for a loss. Joel Williams, number 54, right there as Hampton picked up the bobbled pitch out.
Isn't it interesting how the success of running is all of a sudden dictating a running offense? As I said earlier, though, the thing that this team has done well the last 4 years with Marino at quarterback is throw the football.
5-yard loss on the play leaves 3rd down and 8 for the Dolphins, and they bring in Duper, Moore, Pruitt, and Jensen. 4 wide receivers with Tony Nathan. Every one of those guys can catch the ball. Lots of time for Marino, and picked off. Woodbury. Atlanta with an early turnover.
One of the problems, if you can say Marino has had a problem this year, although he's thrown 31 touchdowns, is that he's had 16 interceptions, make that 17 now.
Dennis Woodbury, an ex-USFLer, his first year with the Falcons out of Southern Arkansas, coming in on the nickel and dime defenses and makes a good interception against Dan Marino. Atlanta with the ball inside the 50-yard line, Dolphin territory. Gerald Riggs, 3 yards to the 46 of Miami. Met there by the rookie Offerdahl, number 56, and the cornerback Judson, number 49.
Riggs had his lowest production of the season, 25 yards rushing last week against the 49ers, and they need this guy to have a big game. They're key. They only have one back in the backfield to rush the football.
You see that front 3 of Turner, Charles, and Little, and then the linebackers, Brodzinski, Ship, Offerdahl, and Mark Brown. Renee Thompson, a rookie, is in at the corner with Blackwood, Brown, and Judson in the secondary. Flag down on the play. Riggs stopped for virtually no gain. George Little, the second-year man from Iowa, on the stop, and illegal motion is signaled against Atlanta. Our referee today is Gordon McCarter. And the Dolphins thinking this one over.
Illegal motion, offensive left guard, 5-yard penalty, repeat, 2nd down.
John Scully, number 61, charged with the illegal procedure, and it will leave 2nd and 11 back at the midfield stripe for Atlanta. Cox and Riggs leave, wide receivers come in. Sylvester Stamps as the 3rd down running back receiver, and Keith Williams, the rookie from Southwest Missouri, just activated from injured reserve, number 35. Stamps. About 6 yards for Sylvester Stamps, tripped up by the noseman, number 71, Mike Charles, and the safety, Bud Brown.
Stamps, it's one of those guys that says the problem we've had is not the confidence I have, but the confidence they have in me.
Turk Schonert, the Atlanta quarterback, Gerald Riggs, with Charlie Brown and Floyd Dixon, the wide receivers, Cox and Wisenhunt, the tight ends. Ken, Scully, Radloff, Jamie Dukes at right guard, and Bill Fralick at right tackle. Now that's because of the injury to Brett Miller, his second of the season. He is gone for the year, so Fralick has moved to tackle. Deep intended for Dixon. He has it. Make it Charlie Brown. Charlie Brown, and he collided with a sideline cameraman, and he is slow to get up. Charlie Brown caught the ball right at the sideline. His momentum carried him into the photography corps down there.
Turk Schoner told me last night that if they come up and press us, I'm going deep right off the bat. Quick takeoffs to Charlie Brown. Charlie Brown is deep. He beats William Judson. Boy, just a perfectly thrown football.
And there is the collision with the photographer, and both of them a little slow to get up, but Brown has returned to the field and the lineup. Charlie Brown, the former Redskin, makes the big score, 37 yards on the play, and first and goal Falcons. Riggs. What a play!
T.J. Turner.
T.J. Turner, the number 2 pick from the University of Houston, just bulldog Riggs down, who I'm sure Riggs thought he was going to make that turn on the corner unimpeded, Terry.
It looked like he had a touchdown all the way from here, but Turner got inside, knocked Cox, the tight end, off, got one hand out, and then made the stop all by himself.
It'll leave second and goal from the 9-yard line. An aroused Orange Bowl crowd exhorting the defense. Riggs inside the 5, close to the 3-yard line. Brodzinski made the tackle with help from the rookie on the corner, Renee Thompson.
You know, when you take away the pride of a football team and when you take away its heart, and the heart of the Atlanta Falcon offense has been Riggs. You take that away one game, you can't expect it to happen 2 weeks in a row. This is a football team that has a lot on its mind, and that is rushing the football, and Riggs is doing a fine job.
Lloyd Dixon and Keith Williams in as wide receivers for Atlanta. Stamps to the 1-yard line. It'll be fourth and goal at the 1-yard line, tripped up by Brian Sauché, number 70. A free agent picked up from the Oilers earlier in the season with all of the injuries to the Miami defensive front. Dan Henning. Bob Harrison signaling in the play. Atlanta will go. Andrews the lead back. Riggs. Touchdown. Gerald Riggs. So the Falcons convert the interception against Dan Marino on Miami's opening series and turn it into a touchdown by Gerald Riggs.
Well, they had run off the right side 3 times, up the middle twice, and so finally they turn around and come back to the left side. As you can see, Ron Middleton doing an outstanding job, guards doing a fine job, Scully, and then Riggs right up inside for the touchdown. It's like saying, well, if we can't go and make it on the right, let's turn around and surprise them and go on the left.
49 yards in 7 plays for Gerald Riggs' 1-yard touchdown. Ali Haji Sheikh for the point after. And it's good. So as the clouds thicken and the lights come on at the Orange Bowl, Atlanta leads 7-0.
In today's world, a luxury car owes you more than just luxury. Today's Chrysler New Yorker gives you advanced front-wheel drive confidence, performance engineering, and is the only American luxury car with the impressive thrust of turbo power and the Chrysler Protection Plan. Today's New Yorker, even though you're in the lap of luxury, you're still in the driver's seat. Chrysler, driving to be the best.
Fire brewing It's more than a way to make Stroh's and Stroh Light. It's a family tradition, passed down from one generation to another for over 200 years. It's what guarantees that smooth, consistent taste for generations to come.
Now you're talking Stroh's. Now you're talking beer. Now you're talking good times, and Stroh's is spoken here.
Gee, Da Vinci, you look wasted.
I've got to present the helicopter, the spiral staircase, and the parachute by 10 o'clock. I'll never get it together.
Lenny, relax. We'll make it look great with this Xerox desktop publisher. The workstation lets you create graphics and mix them with words. Then the laser printer prints everything out laser perfect.
Eat your heart out, Gutenberg.
Desktop publishing from Team Xerox. It brings out the genius in you.
Tim Ryan, Terry Bradshaw back at the Orange Bowl as we see Dan Henning, and Gerald Riggs has put his team in front 7-0. Now, right after the touchdown was scored, a penalty has been assessed against Miami on sportsmanlike conduct on the coaching staff of the Dolphins. And we don't know precisely what happened down there, but it has resulted in a 15-yard penalty against Don Shula and company. So Ali Haji Sheikh will have the unusual experience of kicking off from the 50-yard line.
Lining up for an onside kick.
Line drive will go into the end zone, and the Dolphins will start from the 20-yard line. So Don Shula, we don't know whether he was the miscreant. That would be very unlike Don Shula to say anything that would, well, yeah, it would. I mean, it's not his style to get into a situation that will result in a 15-yard penalty. So we'll try and find out more specifically what happened. It was announced as unsportsmanlike conduct against the Miami coaching staff on the sidelines. That's how it was announced by the referee, Gordon McCarty. There's a squeaker there in New England and New Orleans, a big one for the Saints, and indeed for the Patriots, still in the hunt with the New York Jets in the AFC East for the division crown. On first down, Marino, incomplete, in and out of the hands of Mark Duper. How often are you going to see number 85 drop one like that? And Marino, who was intercepted on the first series, suffering his first interception in his last 104 deliveries, even though he's got 16 on the season. He throws so many that 16 intercepts is really not bad for the number of tosses that Marino throws up there. He's passing at 61% and is the third-rated passer in the AFC. 31 touchdowns to his credit. 2nd and 10. Hampton for 2.
The thing that's happening now, and the Falcons will get a key on this. Marion Campbell is a very smart defensive coordinator. When they bring Jim Jensen, number 11, in as a wide receiver, and also they bring in Johnson, number 87, at tight end, they're motioning Jensen inside to block the safety, and they're running every time. So what's going to happen eventually is Shula will counteract that by sending him in motion, play action, and try to hit Jensen deep.
Wendell Kaysen, Jimmy Turner, Dennis Woodbury in the secondary on the passing down. Dennis Harrison as a pass rusher, showing a 3-man front. Marino almost picked up by Robert Moore, number 34. Not a good throw from Marino.
It's a very confusing defense Campbell runs. It's an offense, a defense that looks like a zone, but then when you turn around, it has man tendencies with its linebackers. If anyone crosses their path, Tim, they pick them up man for man, and what's happening is Dan Reed's zone, he turns around to go to these crossing routes, and there's someone on their back.
Well, it was nearly effective for the second interception by Atlanta, and Roby will have to punt. Reggie Roby, number 2 in the AFC with a 44.3 average. Third in the league. Floyd Dixon is the deep man waiting for it at the 35 of Atlanta. Bobbled by Roby, and he is dropped at the 15-yard line. Laterals to Jensen. Jensen can throw the ball. Flag is down. He's got a man open. Kozlowski, another flag down. Loose ball into the end zone. My, oh my. Oh! Atlanta has the ball in the end zone. There are flags that are stringing out all the way back to where Jensen is still waiting inside the Miami 10.
Heads up play by Jim Jensen.
Two passes on the same down. 5-yard penalty. Loss of down.
Joe Pellegrini finally came up with the ball in the end zone. However, they've ruled 2 forward passes, so that little lateral by Roby was forward and was not a lateral pass. Let's see. He bobbles it. Man, what fun happens on this play.
Now he's fixing to get tackled. Now here's a heads-up play by Roby. He turns around, but unfortunately he throws it forward. That's the old shuffle pass. That's one pass. Now smart again by Jensen, who is their third-string quarterback. He turns around and he fires it downfield, and lo and behold, even with the gloves on, nice pass.
Four passes on the same play. The punter's pass was legal. The second pass, which went forward, was illegal. The penalty is 5 yards from the previous spot. Loss of down.
How about Kozlowski? Kozlowski looked like a running back. He's the nickel back, dime defense player defensively, and he got it off to Mike Smith when he was hit. And we had everything happen there. Well, you know, last week I was in Chicago for that Green Bay game, and it ended on what looked like the California-Stanford play with the Stanford band, the final play of the game. There's Sylvester Stamps injured on that whole series of events that we've just witnessed here on what was supposed to be a simple punt.
It's just loss of down at the previous spot. Atlanta's football here, 1st and 10.
So Atlanta will get the ball, and they will get it inside the 25-yard line of the Miami Dolphins.
Now you can understand why a lot of coaches kick or punt on third down situations, just in case there's a penalty like this. Loss of down, they would have 4th down, they would come back to this point, and then Miami would have the opportunity to punt the football. But unfortunately for Miami, it was on 4th down. There you are, loss of down, Atlanta's football.
Well, Don Shula certainly not pleased with that. The pass from center appeared to be perfect. Roby just bobbled the football, and showing some presence of mind, at least tried to make something happen with it when he realized he couldn't kick it. But unfortunately, it turned into 2 forward passes, and still some discussion here probably about the spot of the ball.
Don Shula can't be happy the way his football team offensively or defensively has played here in the early part of the first quarter.
Well, they're coming off quite a high, beating the Jets, who had won 9 in a row. Doug Betters has come in defensively on the right end. 1st down, Falcons. Rakes for about 6, maybe 7, inside the 20 to the 17-yard line. T.J. Turner, the rookie, and John Offerdahl, the fine-looking young linebacker, number 1 choice from Western Michigan, leading the team in tackles with 99. It is 2nd down and a long 4, Falcons. Now remember, in the NFC West, there is the logjam division. The Rams, when last we saw, were leading the Jets today. If they win, they move to 9 and 4. We'll pick up the rest of that division for you in a moment. Riggs steps inside one tackler, but Offerdahl wraps him up, and then gets help from Glenn Blackwood, holding him short of the 1st down. It'll leave 3rd and about 2.
Offerdahl doing an excellent job of shedding the blocker, getting into the backfield and making the stop. He leads the team in tackles. As you said earlier, Tim, the thing you have to be impressed with him is coming in and picking this offense up. And after one scrimmage against the Falcons in Atlanta, they came back to Miami. He was already announced #1 linebacker for the Miami Dolphins.
3rd down with 3 yards to go. Riggs, check it, it's William Andrews, and he is stopped short. William Andrews coming back off a knee injury, and it's not the one that kept him out a couple of seasons, but one just suffered in recent weeks, so he's not at 100%. Well, and he gets to within a yard.
Well, they're going to come on with Haji Sheik and try a field goal, but heck, they'd gone for it earlier, 4th and probably 2 feet here, so, you know, what do you got to lose?
Well, maybe he's looking at that division I started to recount here. San Francisco at 7-4-1, New Orleans at 6-6 into today's action. San Francisco plays Monday night against the Giants, and Atlanta at 5-6-1. So Dan Henning feeling a victory here today. They've still got a shot. And Ali Haji Sheik has widened the lead from 32 yards out. 4:28 to play first quarter. A stumbling Miami offense has set up 10 Atlanta points.
Plymouth Voyager shows you why the pride is back.
This is the place, the promised land.
This is the place where you'll make your stand.
Spacious Plymouth Voyager, still way ahead of the competition. Versatile Plymouth Voyager, the only one with front-wheel drive, car-like handling, and a 5-year or 50,000-mile protection plan. Of course the pride is back.
The pride is back, born in America again.
When it comes to designing and manufacturing high-quality precision materials for industry, custom-made components of almost any material, design, or specification, there's one company that makes them for all of these. No. GTE.
It's a night of surprises for Clint Eastwood, one of Hollywood's favorite stars and American heroes. Join Lucille Ball with Cary Grant, Sammy Davis Jr., Bob Hope, and over 100 of his closest friends and co-stars in an entertainment-packed evening that makes Clint's day. The all-star party for Clint Eastwood. Then, some called him the man with the golden touch. Some saw him as the emissary of the devil.
You are a madman.
Burt Lancaster stars as America's first great showman, Barnum. Clint Eastwood and Burt Lancaster tonight on CBS.
Tim Ryan and Terry Bradshaw, an eventful first quarter here at the Orange Bowl. The Dolphins coming off their big win over the Jets, stumbling here and trailing Atlanta 10-0. An interception by rookie Woodbury on Dan Marino on the first offensive series, leading to a touchdown. Turk Schonert's only pass so far, a 37-yarder to Charlie Brown, setting up Riggs' 1-yard dive. And then the strange series of events on fourth down, leading to a field goal. This is Ellis. Over the 30 to the 32-yard line. Good return for the rookie from the Canadian League. And Miami will start first down at their own 32. Tim Green made the stop. 33-yard return for number 33. Well, don't forget, next Saturday, one of college football's great traditions, the 87th meeting between the cadets and the midshipmen, Army-Navy. 2 o'clock Eastern Time next Saturday on CBS Sports. And that'll be followed by the Heisman Trophy Award Show, live at 5:30 Eastern Time, and I guess that's somewhat of a foregone conclusion. And the young man from the University of Miami expected to win that, Vinny Testaverde. Hard running by Hampton, who continues to roll, taking that short little pop and picking up a first down for the Dolphins.
You know, even with a quarterback that's had the experience and with the success that Dan Marino's had, it's important that he get that first completion, even if it is a little simple screen pass. Settles him down, gets him into the groove of the game. Now 2nd and 1. Now you can go back, play actioner, give it off to Hampton and get the first down.
The mark a little short of the first down yardage required. Davenport in as the lead back, and he'll try for the first down and has it. Davenport, with 234 yards rushing this year, shares time with Woody Bennett and is generally in there on the short yardage situations. Rady and Curry made the stop for Atlanta, and Miami now at their own 45 with 3:14 to play first quarter. Well, we pointed out at the outset of this game that it's clearly in the must category. The loser can pretty much forget playoff hopes, barring miracles. Marino intended for Duper, off the mark. Duper tried to one-hand it, but there was no way he was going to stay in bounds and make the catch. James Britt had the coverage for Atlanta.
You can see it on his face. He's frustrated with himself. It's 2 passes now to the right that he's overthrown. Now, I went down on the field and talked to these guys and checked out the weather and the wind. And the wind coming in is a quartering wind, which will make the ball move out to the right. So if there's any excuse you could say is that the ball is throwing, the wind's forcing it further to the right than Dan's anticipating.
He's 1 for 6. But it's not like he doesn't know the Orange Bowl better than you do, Bradshaw. I want to talk about your appearances here. They are memorable. Hampton gets about a yard out the left side. This is the first game you've broadcast from here. Is that right, Terry?
That's the first one.
And I know that you remember well the first time you played in here, and it wasn't in a Super Bowl, and it wasn't against the Dolphins while you were playing for the
No,
Steelers.
I had received a letter to play in the North-South All-Star game, and it was played here at the time at the Orange Bowl, and it was the first time for me to play in a large stadium in front of a large crowd, and the first time to ever play against major college competition, because I went to a small school.
Louisiana Tech. Well, that's where the legend began that afternoon here in the Orange Bowl.
The School of Mines.
3rd and 9. Marino, he's got Pruitt, and Pruitt bobbles but holds on. James Pruitt, the rookie from Cal State Fullerton.
Pruitt working on Woodbury, 22 coming down the zone. He just hunts the soft spot area. Guy averaging almost 20 yards per catch, gets inside, and Marino hits him with a football, and he does a little juggling act and finally makes the catch. They needed something good to happen for their pass offense.
He took a pretty good shot from Jimmy Turner, picked up on waivers from the Bengals a few weeks back, number 21. First down, Miami. First time into Atlanta territory, and we're almost out of time in the first quarter. Hampton for about 4. John Rady made the stop. Just to follow on your Orange Bowl experience, I guess most folks remember 2 big Super Bowl games here for you.
Well, the Super Bowl 9 against the Cowboys, which was Lynn Swan's big day. He made those spectacular catches, the one you saw on the cover of a lot of magazine, the great diving catch as he was falling, and then the one on the sideline, and then, of course, the big 60-something yard bomb that eventually won the football game, and then Super Bowl 13, which probably was the greatest game I ever played in.
That was a great one. I think the only really great Super Bowl. 2nd down and 6. Marino pumps once, going deep for the tight end, Johnson, overthrown. Right now, let's take you to New York. Brent Musburger for an update.
Tim, overtime. Soldier Field in Chicago. It's Pittsburgh and the Bears. The Bears won the flip. They elected to kick off. Then the Steelers were forced to punt. Kevin Butler's 42-yard field goal attempt. He missed one late in regulation that sent the game into OT. This one is on the money. And the Bears beat the Steelers 13-10. Let's go back to Tim.
Wow. How about those events? Talking about the Steelers battling the Bears in overtime today. It is 3rd down and 6 for Miami. For Jensen, interception. Woodbury again. His 2nd of the afternoon. On a deflection, Dennis Woodbury. Jensen, the reserve quarterback who also is a reserve receiver, had the ball on his fingertips, couldn't haul it in.
You're going to see Marino coming out. He picks his keys up quickly, looking to the left to see where the safety, then turns and fires. Now, the thing you have to understand is the passes that he throws are timing passes. He did not see Woodbury.
So Atlanta comes up with another one and blunts the Miami drive.
We're not a company, but outstanding people come to us every day. People who want to make a contribution to a team and do work that really counts. People eager to see new places, do the unusual, and find the unusual. People who become your friends for life. People just like you. We're not a company, we're your country. We're the Navy, the Air Force, the Marines, the Army. We're the Armed Forces. It's a great place to start.
The Florida Everglades and Old Milwaukee both mean something great to these guys. The Everglades means airboating, as close as you can get to flying without leaving the ground. And Old Milwaukee means a great beer. Cold, crisp Old Milwaukee beer and smooth, golden Old Milwaukee Light.
There's nothing like the flavor of a special place in Old Milwaukee beer.
Old Milwaukee and Old Milwaukee Light.
Hey guys, it doesn't get any better than this.
When you're behind the wheel in LeBaron GTS, it's nice to know GTS excelled in handling in a U.S. Auto Club test, did 0 to 50 in 5.63 seconds, triumphed in braking, and gave BMW and Mercedes something they never expected, a driving lesson. GTS comes sensibly priced with Chrysler's protection plan. You don't drive LeBaron GTS the way USAC did, but it's nice to know you could. Chrysler, driving to be the best.
Every player dreams of it. Only one will come to own it. The most coveted honor in college football, the Heisman Trophy Award, live next Saturday on CBS Sports.
Tim Ryan and Terry Bradshaw at the Orange Bowl Monday night. Right here, Dan Marino was 29 of 36 to beat the New York Jets, 4 touchdown passes. Today, 2 interceptions in the first quarter against Atlanta. Play action, Schoenert's second pass attempt, but he'll run it. And gets about 7, maybe 8 yards to the 25-yard line of the Falcons. Offerdahl and Shipp, the inside linebackers, 56 and 50 made the stop.
This is good play action by Schoenert. The thing that really makes this Atlanta offense work, Tim, is the ability to run Riggs and get big yardage from him, solid defense, and then come out with a surprise, a little play action, and then look again today. If we see the pressure by the corners of the Dolphins, look for Schoenert to audible and go deep.
Second down and 4, Atlanta. Riggs. First down to the 30-yard line. You know, talking with Dan Henning about Schoenert's performance last week against San Francisco, they're shut out. No points. He's 21 of 35, but an average of just a little over 3 yards. Had to go with the short stuff. And we've now come to the end of the first period. We'll tell you what Henning had to say about Schoenert when we return.
Brighten your colors, sharpen your sound with high-tech components designed to astound. Fine-tune your life with Emerson. Amazing new features, the ultimate prize. Step into the future, we'll open your eyes. Fine-tune your life. Fine-tune your life. Emerson feels so right. Emerson, fine-tune your life with Emerson.
Have you looked at Allstate homeowners insurance rates lately? Nope. They may be lower than you think. They are low.
Leave it to the good hands, people. Leave it to the good hands, people.
Bring your policy into Allstate and compare. See how low our rates really are.
Leave it to the good hands, people.
They're low.
You're in good hands with Allstate.
A member of the Sears Financial Network.
Why don't you use a food processor?
They're too big, too complicated, and too hard to clean.
Not the Oscar from Sunbeam.
Cute.
It's easy to use.
Quick. Powerful. It's even easy to clean.
Oscar from Sunbeam. Make someone's holiday special.
Afraid to try Michelob Classic Dark because it might just be a little too full-bodied and rich? That's what you look for in a date, isn't it? Come on, try Michelob Classic Dark. Don't be afraid of the dark.
Tim Ryan and Terry Bradshaw. We begin the second period. That's David Archer on the left of your screen, the injured quarterback with head coach Dan Henning in the glasses. And returning to our talk about Henning, talking about Schoenert, he said, you know, he can throw the ball, and he threw the ball well last week, but we let them through there for 7 sacks on Old Turk, and he didn't get time to get the ball downfield. So far, Schoenert's just 1 for 1, Terry, but what a strike, 37 yards to Charlie Brown.
And the thing that Turk's not going to get out of the pocket. He'll stay in that pocket, whereas Archer was a guy that made a lot of big plays getting outside and scrambling.
Falcons first down at their own 30-yard line. High formation. Riggs this time met by Brodzinski, the linebacker. No block on him, and Brodzinski stops him for a loss of about a yard. Well, we've got finals in from the earlier games and the Redskins' problems with the Cardinals, but nonetheless, moving on to 11-2. And the Bears, as we mentioned, and you heard from Brent Musburger, winning in overtime against the Steelers.
Heartbreak for the Steelers.
Houston and Cleveland overtime tie, and Kansas City over Buffalo. Look at what Minnesota did to Tampa Bay. San Diego beaten up on Indianapolis, still winless. 2nd and 9, Falcons. Riggs for 2, and T.J. Turner, the rookie, sliced him from underneath, number 95. And this Dolphins defense while it gave up some mileage in the early going against Falcons, starting to tighten up against the run.
Nose tackle Mike Charles stunted to the right side that time, forcing Radloff to take him, and then allowing that time T.J. Turner to come inside with Arfendal. Both of them got inside and took away the cutback running of Riggs.
On the passing down, Brian Sauché and Doug Betters joined the Miami front.
Pressing.
Deep drop by Schonert and incomplete. Intended for Keith Williams, number 35. A little off the mark. He made a dive back at it, but couldn't bring it in.
Well, that's one of those combination reads. You read the linebacker. If he drops deep, you go to Williams. If he stays tight, then Wisenhunt had broken to the corner, and he was wide open. Both of them actually were open, just a poor throw that time by Schonert.
Miami had the ball for 2 minutes longer than Atlanta in the first quarter, 8:14 to 6:46, but were scoreless. 2 interceptions leading to scores for Atlanta. Craig Ellis, the deep man for Rick Donnelly's punt. Oh, he hits a big one. Driving Ellis back inside the 15. Back up over the 20 to the 21-yard line. Stopped there by Robert Moore. And Donnelly, a 53-yarder, will return to the Orange Bowl in a moment.
This is my daughter, Kathleen.
She's been gone for 20 years.
My Pop, what a surprise.
And now she's moving home.
It's going nicely, don't you think?
The Kavanaughs premieres Monday on CBS.
Don't worry about it. We're having a party. Let's come on. Let's get in. Right. Let's go.
Hey, what are you doing? Get out of the way!
Unfortunately, too many teenage parties begin mixing drinking and driving.
And this is where those parties end. I'm Gerald Riggs of the Atlanta Falcons, and I know that the leading cause of death among teenagers is driving while under the influence of alcohol.
Someone's son, someone's daughter, lost forever in the prime of life. That's why he talks to young people, telling them about the problems of drinking and driving. He knows that if he could get to young people early enough, he could save lives.
That's one more reason why the program is important to me. This is my wife, Duran, and son, Gerald. I want us to help all our children avoid the dangers of drinking and driving. Thanks to you, it works. For all of us, the United Way.
This message furnished by the National Football League.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Chrysler Plymouth. We're working together to be the best. Old Milwaukee and Old Milwaukee Light. It doesn't get any better than this. And by Team Xerox, people and products that help bring out the genius in you.
Things getting a little darker here in the Orange Bowl. The lights have been on almost since the start of the game. It's quite cloudy in Miami, but still hot and humid. Temperatures in the low 80s. And the Atlanta Falcons have been hot, and the Dolphins have been humid. It's first down for Miami at their own 20-yard line as we have 13:23 to go here in the first half with Atlanta on top 10-0. These Falcons have scored only 7 touchdowns in their last 8 games, and of course they have been losers in their last 5, but they've got a touchdown and a field goal here in the first quarter. Davenport strung out well by the Falcons defensively, and there'll be a loss of probably a yard. Rick Bryan, number 77, playing with a broken fibula. Listening to that big, tough Oklahoma talk yesterday, Terry, he's something, isn't he?
He is. You know, he re-cracked the break. That's the best way I can put it. And they don't really expect him to play more than 1, maybe 2 downs and then get him out. But as you can see, he's still in the football game. But he said the thing's extremely painful. And he plays with an ankle cast during the game.
It's bothered him more in the last couple of weeks. He actually broke it back in training camp. 2nd and 12, and Marino to Davenport. Gets about 4 yards. Good coverage again by the Falcons, this time on the pass. Curry and Wilkes, the 2 linebackers on the left side, gave him nowhere to go.
I would say that this is about as good a matchup for Dan Marino as he'll see all year, because he is playing against a man in Campbell who disguises defenses so well. He wants to play his linebackers tight on the backs of the Dolphins, whom Marino likes to throw to, and then if they take that away, then they know that he'll go deep downfield, and they're going to play their deep receivers tight also. So it's an excellent matchup today.
Third down facing Marino and company, and he may be changing up at the line of scrimmage, calling out signals to his wide receivers from the shotgun. And he's got Duper, and Duper has the first down and breaks a tackle. Jimmy Turner finally got him. Mark Duper a first down at the 45-yard line.
Simple little key once again. Marino coming back, checking blitz. As you can see, the games are on. Duper coming in. Inside, he's wide open as he beats James Britt, 26. Britt also misses the tackle and allows Duper to turn on that great speed.
If you're wondering about Mark Clayton and missed the beginning of the telecast, he is out with a separated shoulder suffered Monday night. 1st and 10. Marino with time and hit linebacker. Another interception. Scott Case. Now make it Brett Clark, number 28. Jerry, I think that ball went off the back of the linebacker, John Rady.
You're exactly right. It hit Rady right between the 5 and 9, and the ball bounced right over the receiver's head, right into the hands of Brett Clark. You're going to see it again. Now, one of the things a great passer goes through is frustration, and he says to himself, I'm going to make something happen. Dan Marino firing a football down there, well covered as Duper. The ball hits Rady right square in the 5 and 9, and right into the hands of Clark.
Well, each time they've started to get something going, something like this has happened to him.
Right in the back of Brady's head.
Brett Clark had a series of 4 games in a row where he had 4 turnovers, one in each of those 4 games, and he comes up with one here.
Very important now that the Falcons are able to take this football and drive it down the football with 10 minutes left in this first half and score a touchdown. Very important they get a touchdown, not a field goal. They need to put more pressure on Marino and his offense, which in this first half have absolutely struggled.
Gerald Riggs picks up 4, stopped by Turner and Charles. It'll leave 2nd and 6. Atlanta now in Miami territory at the 49. 3 interceptions of Dan Marino. Riggs, loose ball. Atlanta recovers. Close to first down yardage. John Scully came up with the loose ball after it popped away from Riggs.
You're going to see Riggs off right tackle. Notice he's reading, sees the hole now. He accelerates, and there's Offendahl to meet him in the hole. Now the ball pops out. Fortunate for them, John Scully, left guard, recovers.
3rd and a long one. Riggs nearly went the distance. He was down, back up at the first down marker. That he has in hand, but had he been able to retain his balance, he might have gone all the way to the end zone.
Good job by right guard Jamie Dukes starting for the first time. Freilich moving from guard to tackle. And now you're going to see Riggs as he hurdles over the offensive line. Now, he evidently touches a Miami Dolphin with his feet. Let's watch him. Goes over, and there's the hit just with an arm, just enough. Now, Riggs thinks, well, no one tackled me. I can get up and run, but no way.
So it's first down at the 41-yard line of Miami. Charlie Brown goes out to the left. William Andrews in with Riggs in the backfield. Middleton, his second tight end. And Riggs has stopped cold this time by the middle of the Dolphin defense. Gain of 2. Offendahl and Ship, the linebackers, pinching in to meet him.
Offendahl, as we had said, number 2-round draft choice. A man they're extremely pleased with. Jackie Ship, that left inside linebacker, number 50, his inside partner. A man they are not pleased with, a number 1 out of Alabama that hasn't lived up to the billing that they thought this guy would.
Second and 9 as the rain starts to fall on Miami. Riggs nowhere to go out the left side. Good job out there by David Fry, the former Falcon. Fry came in early in the game when Mark Brown's groin injury started to act up, and Fry has seen most of the action since that time. And we want to remind you as the rain falls here that next week the Giants and Washington, and you can see the Redskins, having won their game today, are now 11-2. The Giants play Monday night against San Francisco. Most of you will see that crucial matchup in the NFC East. Some of you will see Tampa Bay against the Chicago Bears, and the Bears struggling with Jim McMahon gone for the season, squeaking by Pittsburgh in overtime today. William Andrews, plowing well out the left side, gets about 7 yards.
Andrews tore not some cartilage, but some scar tissue in his knee, the knee that he had severely injured. And I talked to him in the hotel. I said, "How does it feel?" He said, "It's the best thing that ever happened to him." I said, "Well, did it hurt when it happened?" He said, "Well, at first I went, oh," and then as he said, as it eased off, I went, ah. And he said, ever since then, it's felt great. More flexibility, more movement.
Well, there's some flexibility in the umbrellas here in the Orange Bowl at the moment, because those who were wise enough to bring them on this cloudy day with rain this morning around the area are now somewhat protected, but this is your basic tropical downpour. Rick Donnelly will stand in the now softening turf at the 50-yard line, but they're going to run it.
Didn't make it.
They did not make it on 4th down. The fake punt, but the Dolphins alert. And I believe the ball carrier was Brett Clark, number 28. A blocker on the punt unit.
This is a surprise, but one of the things that Don Shula team is they're well coached. As you can see Ship come inside. They work on every opportunity and every surprise on a football field. It seemed as though they knew exactly what the Atlanta Falcons were going to do. They were there and they stopped them.
Surprise! The fuel-injected CRX-SI.
Welcome to the Silver Bullet, home of a cold Coors Light.
Rob, do you work out?
Yeah, I belong to a club. Here's your Coors Light.
Yeah, I'm thinking about joining a club, but can't seem to find a good enough reason. I mean, is a flat stomach a good enough reason?
Nope.
Building up my endurance?
Nope.
Big muscles?
No.
See the club, Rob?
Yeah.
Oh, what's the name of that club?
There's no slowing down with the Silver Bullet tonight.
So the issue is clear. Sony Video 8, the system of the future, or VHS-C, the compromise of the past. Now, as we've seen, the new Sony Handycam with autofocus and zoom gives you a measurably better picture, far superior sound, twice the recording time, and on Sony video cassettes, your memories are safe. While on VHS-C, they could be fleeting. I rest my case.
The Sony Video 8 system. Judge for yourself.
The Big Blue Wrecking Crew of the Giants. The aerial precision of Jay Schrader and the Redskins. The NFC East leaders collide next Sunday on CBS Sports.
And Terry Bradshaw, and a downpour in the Orange Bowl. 6:37 to go, first half. Atlanta 10-0. Now, the weather in this case certainly is going to affect Miami more. They're behind, they're a passing team, and now Marino has to deal with a wet ball. He is 4 of 12 with 3 interceptions here in the first half. Hampton slips on the wet turf and is dropped for a loss.
You know, I want to disagree with you on that, Tim, because as a quarterback and having played in conditions like this, my receivers and I loved it because we knew that we knew where we were going. I knew I could control the football, meaning I could grip it and handle the conditions. And I knew that there was always a tendency for a defensive back to fall down and we get the big play. So I think this fits right into Miami's offense just absolutely fine.
Would you rather pass on a dry day or a wet day?
Oh, you didn't ask me that.
That's a different question.
I like both.
No, you make a good point.
The advantage, I definitely believe, is with the offensive team that can throw the football.
It's 2nd and 9, and a little discussion over here at the sideline now with Dan Henning. Referee Gordon McCarter, not sure what this is about, although they lost any clocks here? No, 6:08, that's showing. 30-second clock.
30-second clock is working.
They've got a 21 seconds up on the clock, and that should be back at 30.
If I could read his
now.
lips, I could. Dan Henning just explained to one of his associates what's happened.
The
Coach's
phones, probably, yeah. So the phones are out, no doubt, affected by the downpour. And things are starting to brighten up again. Typical tropical situation here. Raining right on the turf, but brighter, not too far away. Pickup of about 4. Rick Bryan on the stop of Hampton. And it'll leave 3rd down and 5, Miami. Now, an interesting point you make, Terry, about the receivers having the advantage of knowing where they're going and the defenders not so and may turn up with a slip.
Right, you eliminate man coverage automatically because they can't afford a mistake at the line of scrimmage.
3rd down and 5. Let's see what he can do with it passing down here. Gets lots of time and has his man. Pruitt.
Oh!
What a tackle short of the first down.
He had it. He had the first down, went backwards, Pruitt did, and gave back a 3rd down situations to the Falcons.
Scott Case, number 25, tripped him up. Looked like he was running right along the needed yardage line.
He was 2 yards beyond the first down marker, meaning he had the first down. Fine pass coming inside, a little soft zone. Now here's where he makes his mistake by trying to make something happen. All he should have done is got his first down, know where he is, and then get out. He didn't do that. Instead of first down, 4th down.
Well, that's the rookie mistake that Don Shula will be reminding him about. From Cal State Fullerton, their number 3 pick and a fine prospect, Pruitt. Remember, Clayton out, so Pruitt and Jensen expected to see more action. Roby, big punt from Reggie Roby. Backs up Floyd Dixon near the goal line.
Mistake
at the 6-yard line.
Mistake by Dixon. Anytime
they do it.
We offer you a meaningful and fulfilling future.
One that goes far beyond the ordinary.
One that brings with it the respect and admiration of Americans everywhere.
We're not a company.
We're your country.
We're the Air Force.
The Marines.
The Army.
The Navy.
We're the Armed Forces.
It's a great place to start.
When nighttime comes and the world is still, you can hear the smallest sounds. And nothing can break the spell like an engine that knocks. But Phillips 66 Super Clean Premium Unleaded is made for the way you drive to help control knocks and pings and sounds that go clank in the night. So use Phillips 66 Super Clean Premium Unleaded because knocks and pings can ruin more than your engine. Super Clean Premium Unleaded. Clean up and keep clean gasoline from Phillips 66. This is Steve and Joan Schorsch of Chicago and their Honda. And these are their children and their Hondas. But then Steve and Joan always said, nothing but the best for our kids.
A rivalry that is tradition itself. The cadets against the midshipmen. The Army-Navy game next Saturday on CBS Sports.
Tim Ryan and Terry Bradshaw. The rain still falling heavily here at the Orange Bowl. Atlanta leading 10-0 as we have 4:14 remaining first half. Reggie Roby's towering punt. Dixon electing to field it. Forced out of bounds at the 6-yard line. The crowd here wanting this Dolphin defense to do its thing as it did against the Jets Monday night. Stop Atlanta now. Riggs met at the line of scrimmage by Turner. Turner, 6'4", 265-pounder from Houston. Their number 2 pick, and Don Shula has said that his progress is excellent so far this season on this struggling Dolphin defense, having to go with a rookie like Turner, but getting better each game.
Well, that's the thing, is that he's getting better with each game. He's put Doug Betters on the bench. He backs him up now, and they've got Charles at nose tackle, a young man, and George Little. So they've got a good, solid foundation for the future.
Second down and 7. Riggs, what a piece of running by Gerald Riggs for a first down to the 23-yard line. Bud Brown made the stop there, and good thing he did for Dolphin fans. 14 yards.
Riggs' style of running is low. His ability primarily is a cutback runner. Go to the right, then cut back to the left. As you can see, he does it there. Good job by his offensive line of crashing down the nose tackle and the inside linebacker. Then Riggs, once again, Tim, is in the secondary.
First down. Riggs again, nowhere to go this time. Clogged up on the left side, started back toward the right. Brodzinski, the linebacker, was waiting for him there, and again Turner in on it.
You have to ask yourself, when you see a team like the Dolphins that plays so well on Monday night, come into a game against the Falcons, a team that they very easily could have taken, a little bit lightly, which would have been a tremendous mistake, and that's proven out so far in this game. But you got to wonder if they're not a little tired, or if the major problem is, hey, we really don't think much of the Falcons. We think we can beat them easily.
Riggs, over the 1,000-yard mark for the season, has a little swing pass this time and is close to another first down. It'll be third and probably a half yard to go. Offerdahl and Judson made the tackle, and we have reached the 2-minute warning here at the Orange Bowl, with the sun trying to peek back in here. Will return Atlanta on top.
10 years ago, Honda gave the automotive world a moving target, the Honda Accord. Since then, car makers the world over have taken their best shots at hitting the combination of engineering, workmanship, performance, and price. They've all missed.
I always thought that time was a measure of quality. Now they've got technology that can cut the time of aging beer to that. Bam! Instant beer. Not Coors. Coors ages their beer longer than any other major brewer. Almost twice as long. And age any beer longer, it gets smoother. More easy drinking. More like Coors. Nope. Coors won't take shortcuts with time. Coors is the one.
The dreams of today belong to the champions of tomorrow. CBS Sports tips off its college basketball season in 2 weeks when Arizona takes on Georgetown. CBS Sports, the home of the NCAA championship. In the NFC East, the contenders have emerged. The New York Giants boasting a little running back and a big play defense. The Washington Redskins armed and daring behind quarterback Jay Schrader. Next Sunday, they collide on CBS Sports.
Tim Ryan, Terry Bradshaw, and still a drenching rain falling here in the Orange Bowl. Third down, a little more than a yard required for another Atlanta first down, and Gerald Riggs has crossed the 1,000-yard mark for the third consecutive season. He has been the main man offensively all year for Atlanta. And when they lost David Archer, of course, even more pressure on him to keep that strong running game going. Schonert has thrown just 3 passes in this first half, 1 of 2. His numbers, it was a dandy 37 yards to Charlie Brown, and it set up the Riggs touchdown. Jerome Foster in defensively for the Dolphins, number 78, on the short yardage. Riggs skips through and still going. To midfield, Gerald Riggs. Glenn Blackwood stopped him there. 18 yards on the play for Gerald Riggs.
Number 1.
And the Falcons take a timeout with 1:48 to play.
One of the things you like to do is, if you're going to play the Dolphins, is you want to ball control, run the football. If you're the Falcons, you want to give it to this man. Big play, gets them the first down with 1:48 remaining in the first half. Falcons driving.
I am losing control. I have a TV remote, a cable remote, a VCR remote. Doesn't anybody make a TV with one remote control for everything?
Sure. Magnavox. This one comes with the universal remote. It controls the Magnavox TV and just about every brand of wireless, VCR, and cable.
A Magnavox controls Sony.
And Zenith, and RCA, and Panasonic, and...
I'll take the Magnavox, and you can take these.
The universal remote. It's 3 controls in one. Nobody puts it together like Magnavox.
Push your old antifreeze another year, and you might end up pushing your luck. Weak, neglected antifreeze can cause freeze-up and make a radiator look this bad, while the Prestone radiator looks this good. So don't push your luck, change it. Once a year with fresh Prestone.
This high-performance drink cleans your fuel system to help maintain peak performance. STP Gas Treatment, the high-performance drink for your car.
More profound than words. Diamonds.
Tim Ryan and Terry Bradshaw back at the Orange Bowl, and the rain starting to lighten up somewhat here. The Falcons have a first down at midfield, and they lead 10-0. Here's how it all came about. Excuse me, Terry. 3 interceptions against Dan Marino in the first half. His numbers undistinguished at 5 of 13, and Riggs, rushing for 77 yards, has carried the ball 18 times already in this first half. Floyd Dixon on a little end around. Well played by the linebacker, Jackie Shipp. I think they must have seen that one in the movies.
Well, once again, just an excellent job by Shipp, because the flow goes one side and the linebackers key the guards in the back. Backs went to his left. It's just a natural instinct for a linebacker to make a step that way, but Shipp read it so quickly he was able to come back and stop Stamps. Now, one of the things that's very interesting now is, since they're running the ball, the Falcons, that is, Tim, is look for a surprise, look for a secret pass somewhere along here to hit them big and get them in the end zone.
Second down and 9. Schoenert has passed only 3 times. He'll throw now.
Got him.
It's complete. Charlie Brown working on his old classmate at South Carolina State, Judson.
Well, Judson had him short, but Bud Brown, the weak safety, had him deep. As you're going to see, this is not the fancy play I was talking about. A little play action to Riggs. Good job by Schoenert, just turning around very simply, throwing over Judson's head, and in between Judson and Brown, there is Charlie Brown, 89, as he makes a big first down reception.
First down, Falcons, inside the 25 of the Miami Dolphins. 1 minute remaining first half. William Andrews, the lone setback. 3 receivers spread across the field. Schoenert goes short. William Andrews met immediately, but got about 6 on the play. And the hit by Brzezinski with help from Ronnie Thompson. And the Falcons take their second timeout with 2nd and 5 when we return to the Orange Bowl. 50 seconds to play in the first half.
What a bright future I have. I like Sylvania bulbs. Long-lasting bulbs for your home. All kinds of energy-saving lights. And look, Sylvania put me in spotlights, garden lights, and thousands of other bulbs. Try some. I'll do a brilliant job for you.
Honey, who turned on all the lights?
Ask for Sylvania, where the best comes to light.
College football activity next Saturday here on CBS Sports. One of the great traditions, the 87th meeting between the cadets and the midshipmen, Army-Navy, at 2 o'clock Eastern Time. And then following that will be the Heisman Trophy Award Show, 5:30 Eastern Time. And as everybody would seem to know for sure, it'll be Vinny Testaverde, barring one of the great upsets of all time.
In the paper here this morning, they got 2 full pages on Testaverde, how he works out, what he eats, what he wears to class, what he's going to do with his money, who his agents are going to be. Unbelievable.
Second down and a long 4. Schoenert can't find a man. A flag is down as Schoenert scrambles short of the first down yardage to the 15-yard line, and a penalty will be assessed against the Falcons. And it was probably a hold as one of the Dolphins managed to get deep in pursuit of Schoenert, I believe Mike Charles, and probably somebody grabbed him, like Jamie Dukes perhaps.
Holding 73 offense. 10-yard penalty, repeat second down.
That is the rookie from Florida State, Jamie Dukes, who is starting at guard today with the injury to Brett Miller moving Freilich over to tackle. And Henning likes the future of Jamie Dukes, a free agent, signed out of college and a little green and working his way slowly into pro ball, but they think he's going to be a good one.
into shape. You forgot to add "and into shape."
Well, I didn't want to embarrass him. The camera was doing that for us.
You're cruel.
Second and 15. Schoenert 4 of 5, 73 yards passing. And again, it's Dixon, and they faked that this time. Up the middle, and it's incomplete. Intended for the tight end, Arthur Cox, the guy they call a beer truck, and meanwhile, there was somebody wide open down in the end zone.
Well, that's somebody's Charlie Brown. You know, you can come out and run the reverse, and you ran it. They ran it earlier to Stamps. Then you come out again, and you run it again. It's a little bit too soon to run it again because everyone says, "Look, we just saw that. It fooled us the first time. You only got 2 yards. So why come out and do it again? We know you're going to pass." And that time they had everyone well covered, but Charlie Brown had gotten into the corner of the end zone. Probably no one within 15 yards of him.
McNeil, Rose, and Smith are all in the Dolphins secondary on 3rd and 15. William Andrews. Short of the first down, but a nice piece of running by Andrews. It'll be about a yard to go. 4th down at the 15-yard line.
It's amazing. They ran that play with Stamps. Now they come back and run a pass off of it. Now they come back with it, and this time give it to Andrews. 3 little gadget plays, all of them 3 different players carrying the football.
It'll be 4th down and a long yard. Let's call it 2 yards. They've spotted the ball at the 16-yard line. And a timeout called with 3 seconds on the clock. And Ali Haji Sheikh now comes onto the field. So they will be attempting the field goal, and a chance to remind you of the big one next week, the NFC East battle. It's been a dandy all season long. The Giants play Monday night. They're at 10-2. Washington moved to 11-2 today, and most of you will be seeing that battle for the NFC East lead. Some of you will see the Buccaneers continuing to struggle, to put it mildly, and the Bears, who struggled today, an overtime victory against the Steelers. But the Super Bowl champions, one way or another, still find ways to win, and they are now 11-2.
You know, one of the things that the viewing audience probably couldn't tell when the game started is the paint that was on the dirt that's in the middle of the football field, which makes our cameras look good. But now the rain has washed the paint off, and now you're going to see a kick from the middle of the mud pile down there as Haji Sheikh tries that. If it had been turf, of course, you wouldn't have to worry about the mud.
Yeah, that's your basic brown dirt out there without the vegetable dye, huh? It's going to be from the 23-yard line, a 33-yard attempt. Schoenert to hold for Ali Haji Sheikh. And it's wide to the left. Haji Sheikh had hit from 32, but he misses on this one as time expires at the end of the first half here at the Orange Bowl in Miami. But the Atlanta Falcons, on the strength of 3 interceptions, have taken a 10-0 lead over the punchless Dolphins of Miami, Dan Marino has been held in check.
Great place to start. Honda, who invites you to experience the Accord DX four-door sedan at your local Honda dealer. And by McDonald's, it's a good time for the great taste of McDonald's.
Wednesday on CBS.
Security guard was killed.
What are you gonna do?
I'm keeping an eye on Sonny boy. I don't like people going around trying to kill me.
Hammer. Then, Magnum's caught in the clutches of a ruthless gambling ring, bent on extortion and ready for murder. And a kidnapping
They've taken my little boy.
on the Equalizer.
My only concern is this boy's safety.
Wednesday.
I do not want to use this.
'Twas the night before Christmas when all through the house not a creature was stirring except Fievel the mouse.
Presenting Fievel, the adorable star of Steven Spielberg's presentation of the Don Bluth film An American Tale. Now collect all 4 different McDonald's stocking ornaments featuring Fievel. Each one comes free when you buy the perfect stocking stuffer. A $5 book of McDonald's gift certificates.
This holiday season, give a terrific surprise. Free Fievel stockings with our gift certificates inside.
As the holiday season draws near, the power of champions is put to the test on CBS Sports. Next Saturday, a rivalry that is tradition itself, the Army-Navy game. Then the most coveted honor in college football. Every player dreams of it, and this year's hopefuls include a hurricane named Vinny and a man called Boz. The Heisman Trophy Award. And in 2 weeks, the college basketball season tips off on CBS Sports, home of the NCAA Championship, where the dreams of today belong to the champions of tomorrow. On December 13th, defending Pac-10 winner Arizona meets Reggie Williams and the Hoyas of Georgetown. December 20th, Illinois takes on the top-ranked team in the nation, the Tar Heels of North Carolina. And throughout December, it's the NFL on CBS. Some have risen to be contenders, but the time approaches when only one will be crowned champion. As CBS Sports brings you complete coverage of the NFC playoffs and the Super Bowl. When you look for champions, look to CBS Sports.
A day of high drama in the NFL.
It is good, and it's 27.
Maxim Dejas kicks Washington into the playoffs. Meanwhile, at the same time, Kevin Butler was trying to get the Chicago Bears in, but he struck the upright, and the Bears and the Steelers would go to overtime. And down in the Superdome, New Orleans was trying to close out and move in on a possible wild card when Wade Wilson, off a scramble, fumbled. Brent Williams scooped it up for New England and dashed in 21 yards out, and the Patriots are tied with the Jets. Welcome, I'm Brent Musburger with Irv Cross. Irv?
You know, I was surprised to see Mike Ditka at the end of regulation play score tied 10-10, winning the toss, going in overtime, and elected to kick off.
And then what happened?
Well, he wound up being a genius because he won the ball game. Kevin Butler lines up 42 yards out and kicks it right dead down the middle. Can you believe that? The Bears now have won their 3rd successive NFC Central Division championship.
A familiar face in the background, Jim McMahon, out with a little bear hug there for his buddy Kevin Butler. 13-10, the Bears beat the Steelers, that one in overtime. There was another overtime game. Former employee of the NFL Today, well, more like a guest of a week ago. A fellow by the name of Mark Mosley came here looking for a job. And Art Modell, the owner of the Browns, found him seated here on the set and was able to get a telephone call through to him. And folks, would you believe it? In overtime today, with only 5 seconds left in overtime, Mosley booted this 29-yarder. And the Browns win it 13-10. Now, the Rams and the Jets, a game matching 2 division leaders this afternoon, and the Rams were very impressive, 17-3. What about this play by Jim Everett?
Jim Everett reads the blitz nicely here, hitting Kevin House on a quick post, and of course House does the rest of those lightning quick legs, 60 yards down to the end zone for a touchdown.
Eric Dickerson also enjoyed a big game against Joe Walton. But let me tell you, it's tough enough to stop Dickerson with 11. Only 10 defenders out there. No one on the other side, and here comes Eric for his 9th touchdown of the season. Jets turned the ball over 4 times. Irv, what has gone wrong with that ballyhooed Jet passing attack?
I never thought I would see a team contain Al Toon and Wesley Walker. Miami did it last week. The Rams did it again today. They simply weren't a factor today.
All right, it was 17-3, and the Jets fall into a tie with the New England Patriots. Speaking of the Patriots, it was 21-20. They scored twice in the last 4 minutes down in New Orleans to pull that one out. So the AFC East standings look like this. Now, technically, the Patriots are in first place. They hold a better divisional record than the New York Jets right now, both teams at 10-3. San Diego and Indianapolis, the storyline here, Dan Fouts comes back and turns in a fine game. 24-31, 290 yards, and this touchdown, Herb.
Really a neat catch here. Charlie Joyner winds up with the ball, but Dwight Hicks, formerly with the 49ers, remember him, tips the ball, and Wes Chandler comes down with it for the touchdown.
Follow the bouncing ball, and the Chargers wind up with a big touchdown. The Minnesota Vikings at home this afternoon, and they explode with 45 points, 45-13 over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Wade Wilson, 3 touchdowns, including this 23-yarder to Alfred Anderson, and Wilson had 339 yards to go with those 3 scores. NFC Central standings look like this. As Irv told you, the Bears have wrapped up their 3rd straight divisional title. Minnesota at 7-6, not completely out of the wild card picture, but it would be a long shot. Washington has wrapped up at least a wild card, 20-17 over the St. Louis Cardinals. They needed that dramatic field goal late, and of course the big one coming up next week for the Redskins. They will take on the New York Giants down in the nation's capital. Buffalo and Kansas City, ring the bells in Buffalo. The Bills have finally won one on the road after losing 22 straight.
And they win it with a pass. Kelly going to Andre Reed for the touchdown.
You know where their last win was on the road? When was it? 3 years ago in Kansas City. The NFL Today will continue on CBS after these messages from your local stations.
There's a fire-breathing creature Chrysler has imported from Japan. Conquest TSI. The intercooled turbo coupe built by Mitsubishi. So hot it'll smoke the 300ZX and RX-7. Conquest TSI, now at your Chrysler dealer.
The dreams of today belong to the champions of tomorrow. CBS Sports tips off its college basketball season in 2 weeks when Arizona takes on Georgetown. CBS Sports, the home of the NCAA championship. In the NFC East, the contenders have emerged. The New York Giants boasting a little running back and a big play defense. The Washington Redskins armed and daring behind quarterback Jay Schrader. Next Sunday, they collide on CBS Sports. This is CBS.
There was a report earlier today over on NBC that Miami Hurricane coach Jimmy Johnson will be moving on to the University of Texas after his Hurricanes play Penn State for the national championship down in the Fiesta Bowl. So we took that question to Miami's athletic director, Sam Jankovic, and this was Sam's response.
I had a long discussion with Coach Johnson over the telephone on Friday, and we spent quite a bit of time visiting Thursday evening. I do not think that is the case. Coach Johnson will be back. He'll be coaching the Hurricanes.
Well, certainly he will be coaching the Hurricanes in the Fiesta Bowl. The games that are in progress right now. Atlanta and Miami, 10-0. Atlanta with the lead there. Many of you have been enjoying that game so far. Meanwhile, out of the snow in Denver, 24-14. John Elway, who had not thrown a touchdown pass for about 8 quarters at least, has now put 2 on the board here in the second quarter. 19 yards to Jackson, 8 yards to Winder, and they lead the Bengals by 10. Meanwhile, Philadelphia and the Raiders, 13-10, and Irv Cross show us the big moment.
Big play here. Randall Cunningham going deep to Mike Quick. The Raiders felt the only player who could really hurt them was this guy, number 82, Mike Quick. He goes 62 yards for the touchdown.
All right, Irv, we're going to toss it back now to Tim Ryan and Terry Bradshaw. And Irv, I wonder how Terry Bradshaw feels about Big Dan Marino. What's going on with Dan today, Terry?
Well, I think he's a little bit confused right now. Marion Campbell's defensive scheme is working. They're giving him a look of zones. He's thinking he has those seams because he's what you call a timing passer. And when he turns that football loose, Brent, they're taking their linebackers and doubling underneath. And it's a total surprise to him here in the first half.
And so at halftime, the Atlanta Falcons lead 10-0 over the hometown Miami Dolphins, and will return for second half action and the Bradshaw Blackboard in a moment.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Michelob. So exceptionally smooth, the night belongs to Michelob. RCA technology that excites the senses. And by the heartbeat of America, today's Chevrolet.
Back here at the Orange Bowl, the rain has stopped. Atlanta leading the Dolphins 10-0. And Terry Bradshaw, you talked about how Marino has been somewhat confused with that Marion Campbell defense. Maybe you can show us.
Here's what happened. They're giving him a strong zone look, rotating up, sitting their safety here, and then letting Brett Clark read. They're taking their backs and going out. Then Curry's going here, but what's happening over here is the Duper comes down, goes inside, and then Rady reads inside and turns and runs and gets right in behind Duper, and therein sits Clark. Marino sees the big gap here. He fires the football, then all of a sudden in the back you're going to see 59 Rady come inside, doubling up on the wide ends with linebackers. Now you can see Clark, see him, 28, dropping back in the middle. There's Marino. He reads the zone. Then he says, oh, the gap is wide open. So he turns to fire to Duper. And who does he hit in the back but 59 Rady, who has come up to double Duper.
We'll see it one more time from another view.
Now you're going to see tight end will go out, and the linebackers on the outside will clamp the backs. Marino reads it, goes automatically to a big wide gap on the left. He'll fire the football, and once again, he'll hit Rady right in the back, who was playing underneath the wide receiver that side, and that happened to be 85 Duper. Bounces off of his back, and then Brett Clark, the free safety, 28 intercepts.
Well, there were 3 interceptions in the first half of Dan Marino, the worst he's had this season, 4 by the San Francisco 49ers, and it's only halftime here against the Atlanta Falcons, 2 of them by rookie Dennis Woodbury, who comes in the nickel and dime situations for the Atlanta Falcons. So we'll see whether or not Don Shula and his offensive staff can adjust to that Marion Campbell defense for the second half. They're down only 10 points, and with a guy like Marino who can light it up, that's not much of a lead at all. On the other hand, the Falcons defense has been solid here in the first half, and we're about ready to kick it off here. Miami Fuad Reves will kick it off. And out over the 26-yard line, it is Keith Williams, number 35, with the return. And we can see that at halftime, 187 yards for the Falcons and 102 for the Dolphins, and just 40 of those rushing, coming off their impressive showing against the Jets on Monday night, with Lorenzo Hampton gaining 148 all by himself. We have an injured player on the kickoff play, and indeed we had one briefly injured on the kickoff play to open the game, Scott Case, but he did return.
Looks like 25, Mike Smith, reserve, backs up the right corner spot. comes in on nickel defenses.
Mike Smith, the second-year man from Texas El Paso, their number 4 choice a year ago, and made a big defensive play against the Jets on what appeared to be a Jets touchdown pass. He came from nowhere to knock it away.
As we run this, you can look on the right side of your screen. You're going to see 25 Mike Smith come into view, and then you'll be able to see what happens. Exactly what happens is the man that was blocking was knocked down, gets up, and then cuts Smith's legs out from under him, and then he flips over the blocker's head. Here's another view of it right in the center of your screen. Smith coming in, try to make the tackle. There's the block, and then he flips over, but he's up now and he's all right, so that's good news for Don Shula and the Dolphins.
Well, the passing stats not Marino sounding in the first half. 5 of 13, 3 interceptions. Atlanta, Kirk Schonert, 4 of 6. And he got the job done thanks to the running of Gerald Riggs. First down Atlanta from their 25. Riggs gets a couple. And Jackie Shipp, the linebacker number 50, with help from Renee Thompson, the rookie on the corner. Renee Thompson from Baylor. An 8th-round choice that they actually cut this year and then brought back. And while he had played some nickel in college, primarily a track man, and they are amazed with his progress in getting a start for the injured Paul Langford, who's on injured reserve. Broken leg on Monday night against the Jets. 2nd and 9. Riggs, and an inspired effort there by the Dolphins.
Rosinski, 59, coming up, just leveling that time Riggs. You can tell how the attitude of the Dolphins has suddenly changed. It's like the big boys on the block that got slapped around by the guys they weren't supposed to be slapped around by, and they're a little embarrassed, a little ashamed of themselves. And here in the second half, they've come out with some renewed vengeance.
Riggs with 77 yards rushing on 18 carries in the first half. Dolphins have a 3rd down and 6. Schonert, good protection. Incomplete. Intended for Floyd Dixon down the left sideline. And Atlanta will have to punt, and this Dolphin crowd applauding their defense.
You can tell that Schonert at that time, Tim, was looking at Dixon, wanting him to go to the outside because the corner had the inside technique on Dixon. It did him no good to go down the field. If he would run away to his left toward the sideline, he would have given Schonert at that time a pass route that he could have gotten the ball in there to him.
Rick Donnelly just his 2nd punt. They faked one, recall, that the Dolphins read and stopped. This is Craig Ellis. Open field tackle, a one-hander pulls him down. The linebacker, number 52, Aaron Brown. A 42-yard punt for Donnelly, and Miami will take over when we return, trailing 10-0 here early in the 3rd.
Who has transformed home entertainment, bringing sight and sound together with one remote. Who? RCA, with Digital Command Component Systems. A choice of components operated by one remote that deliver a sight and sound experience you must experience. Digital Command Component Systems. If you settle for less than RCA, that's exactly what you'll get.
Atlanta coach Dan Henning got to be pleased with his first half effort by his team today. He watched his son Dan Jr. on Thanksgiving Day lead Maryland to victory over Virginia. Well, his counterpart today, Don Shula of the Dolphins, saw his son Mike Shula, quarterback of Alabama, lose to Auburn.
Kind of interesting how Henning ended up coaching for Shula, having a contract with the Jets. Wasn't the one he originally wanted. Coming off a boat, Shula calls out on the ocean, says, "Meet me in Miami for the Super Bowl. We want you to coach here."
That was 1979, and he was an assistant under Don Shula. First down. Davenport gets about 2 out the right side, running behind Larry Lee and Greg Cook.
Cook at right tackle, an interesting story coming here from Green Bay Packers, coming down to play tackle for the injured Riddle offensive line for the Dolphins. Got down here and felt like he was safe being so far from home, Tim, so he made a wise remark about all the bowling shirts. The only big thing up in Green Bay was wearing bowling shirts, and about 600 dozen, it seems like, bowling shirts were shipped down here to Cook.
Second down and 8. Marino with time, now forced out. Complete to Hampton. He'll be short of the first down, but it will leave 3rd and a yard. John Rady made the tackle, number 59.
In this offense of the Dolphins, in every passing play there is a deep threat. Every play has a potential bomb involved in it. What the thing that is happening, Tim, is that the Falcons are taking away the deep passes. That's why Marino's standing there looking deep, forced out of the pocket, and is forced to take a short pass.
3rd down and a yard. They've brought in an extra lineman, Tom Toth, number 76, along with the 2 tight ends, Hardy and Johnson, to block. Going wide to Hampton, and that will be close. A flag down on the play as well. Well, the Dolphins trying to cross up Atlanta by taking that short yardage play wide, and it might have cost them, but the flag, on the other hand, may get it for them anyway. Let's wait and see.
One of the reasons you do not like to run wide in short yardage situations is because of pursuit by the linebackers. That's why you go up inside, and if you break those, like Hampton did last week against the Jets, he went 54 yards, and that was straight away off tackle.
Illegal use of hands to the face, number 28 defense.
Brett Clark.
Automatic first down.
Well, the Falcons had him stopped, and a somewhat foolish penalty in that circumstance gives Miami a first down at the 45-yard line of the Dolphins. They're trailing 10-0. It's been a struggle for this young man so far today, but there's lots of time for Marino to light it up. 11:25 remaining 3rd quarter. Hampton is hit from behind. Good pursuit by Joel Williams, the right side linebacker, sneaking in along the line of scrimmage. No gain.
Joel Williams coming in from Philadelphia in a trade along with Reggie Wilkes, the other outside linebacker, both playing for Marion Campbell in Philadelphia. And Wilkes and Williams are living together, sharing a room as partners down there. I kind of wonder who's doing all the cooking. They look pretty healthy.
Yeah, they do. 2nd and 10 from the 45-yard line. Minnesota. Big win over Tampa, big score. First down, Dolphins. That's Hardy to the 40-yard line of Atlanta. Bruce Hardy, 40 passes coming into the game, has become a big part of the Marino pass offense. A 14-yard gain. Didn't you tell me this youngster was as a youngster was a real outstanding quarterback?
Yeah, Bruce Hardy in Utah was the most highly sought-after quarterback in the nation. He was the Dan Marino John Elway. He signed with Arizona State. He got down there. They didn't like him as a quarterback. Put him in at tight end. He became an outstanding tight end in college, and the same here with the Miami Dolphins.
First down Miami, moving the football. Davenport.
Good job, Rick Bryan, defensive right end, shedding off the tackle of Giesler, getting outside, getting a hand on Davenport and pulling him down. Said he wanted to be a cattleman, raise cattle. I didn't want to tell him that the cattle business has been kind of bad lately because he's so big. I wasn't about to tell him, but he said his dad's got several acres of land there in Oklahoma, and said his goal as a player is to save his money, and ended up with 1,000 acres of land and raise cattle. So I say good luck to him.
Rams over the Jets, and that's bad news for Falcons and their fans, widening their lead in the NFC West. Marino going deep for Duper. Incomplete. Scott Case on the coverage, number 25. And the crowd here thinking he may have nudged the receiver, Duper.
Scott Case, starting strong safety, was too aggressive at safety, so Marion Campbell put him at right corner, said, I want him better at corner. His personality fits the corner better. That time you can see Marino thinking they can take advantage of him as he sends Duper on him. Now you can notice, look at Case turn about 7 yards before Duper even gets deep and says, I know you're going deep, I'm running with you. Folks think he has his hands on him, but that's not the case.
Did a good job on the coverage. 25, Scott Case. Marion Campbell, who made that choice, and Case done the job over there on the right corner. Third down, 7 Miami. And the shotgun. Quick release, and that's incomplete. And the best man that had a shot at it was yet another Falcon. Jensen, the intended receiver, but there must have been a mix-up on the route. And an angry-looking Dan Marino comes to the sideline. Fourth down.
Well, it's hard to figure out if Dan Marino is mad at himself or the receiver ran the wrong route, because the receiver was wide open and Dan threw the ball right at him, but he just threw it too high. The only other thing I could question is if the route was to go outside and be one of those quick takeoffs where Marino is going to split the corner and safety.
There you see him discussing what happened with Don Strock, his backup, mentor, guru, the veteran in his 13th year in the NFL. Dixon will be the deep man, and Roby trying to hang it high. He does, too. Let's see what kind of a bounce he gets. It hits and goes forward to the goal line, but not all the way, and it's a first down from the 2-yard line. What a job by Reggie Roby. 8:59 to play in the third quarter. Atlanta 10-0.
Are your homeowner's insurance bills swallowing a little too much of your budget? There is something you can do about it.
Leave it to the good hands, people.
Come into Allstate and compare.
I'll be in menswear.
We'll do everything we can to save you some money.
There you are, sir. Nice shirt. Well, thanks. Looks like I get to keep it.
You're in good hands with Allstate.
A member of the Sears Financial Network.
Listen to the heartbeat of America. Listen to the heartbeat of America.
And you've got what it takes. Put yourself in today's Chevrolet Celebrity Eurosport and listen to your heartbeat.
The heartbeat of America. That's today's Chevrolet.
Phew. Working on a tan is torture. How do I bear it? With a Sun Country wine cooler, naturally. Sun Country is the best tasting blend of premium wine and real fruit juice I've ever had. So while the heat's burning me up, the sun's cooling me down. Sun Country. Say, give me the real juice cooler. So pick up a cold, refreshing Sun Country, 'cause it can cool off even the hottest bodies on the beach.
This is my daughter, Kathleen.
She's been gone for 20 years.
Why, Pop, what a surprise.
And now she's moving home.
It's going nicely, don't you think?
The Kavanaughs premieres Monday on CBS.
We're looking at Reggie Roby, the punter for the Dolphins. He told me that when he's inside the 40, he likes to punt with the nose of the football up and point his toes straight up and kick his pooch punt, which dives and just rolls softly and allows his people to get under it and make the stop. Now notice his hand, the ball, look at the point, straight up. Now the toe will drive it through. Look at the toe, straight up. It's not pointed, it's straight up. That makes the ball get up and flutter and dive and then softly hit.
What a job he did. And the the crowd here hollering defense, Atlanta from the 2-yard line. Gerald Riggs quiets the crowd with a burst up the middle for 5. Offerdahl and Shipp, the middle linebackers, made the stop. John Offerdahl, you can see him holding that right arm. He's still in considerable pain. He showed me yesterday, and he's going to have to come out, that the bruise that literally runs the length of his arm from the elbow down, the pain is such that he can't get in the push-off position he needs to work from. And he's obviously hurt it on that play. Hendel is in to replace him. Loose ball. Dolphins have it. Gerald Riggs was running hard and well until
you're going to see once again going to his left, Tim, cutting back, nice hole up the middle. Now you're going to see the lick as it's put on him. Renee Thompson, 24. Looks like that's Blackwood, 47, coming up, and he's the one that really administered the blow that forced the football out. Now you can see it again. Thompson will come in from your right side. There's Blackwood, 47. He's the one. Now he gets his helmet right on the football, and that knocks the football loose.
And it's going to be David Fry, number 53, who comes up with it for the Dolphins at the 21-yard line of Atlanta. The former Falcon gives his new team possession in scoring territory. Whistle on the field. We have 8:16 to go here in the third period. Dolphins yet to be in the end zone. The number 1 offensive team in the entire National Football League, total offense and passing.
Atlanta, number 1.
Well, Atlanta charged with a timeout, and Dan Henning said, who called that one? There's David Archer with some word for him. I'm not sure what. He's on the cans upstairs, but a defensive timeout called here, and one perhaps wasted. We'll be back.
We're not a company.
But we recognize potential. We develop it. We use it.
We'll make sure that as your responsibility grows, so will you.
As your ability for leadership grows, so will you.
Working with us, you'll gain self-confidence.
Become a person with a future.
We're not a company.
We're your country.
We're the Marines.
The Army.
The Navy.
The Air Force.
We're the Armed Forces.
It's a great place to start.
It's the rhythm on the road. It's the pulse on the street. The city and town of magic sound.
Feel the heartbeat of America. Chevrolet.
That's the day of Chevrolet.
The jellyfish swims faster than that.
Not with a clogged nose like this.
Oh, try this.
Sidex? I need help now.
You got it. Hit this when you feel it. 1 second.
With Sinex Vapors, you feel better in 1 second. Plus, its strong decongestant keeps you breathing free for hours.
And you're gonna need it for hours.
Whoa!
Sinex, regular or long-lasting. Feeling better is a second away. From Vicks, of course.
A rivalry that is tradition itself. The cadets against the midshipmen. The Army-Navy game next Saturday on CBS Sports.
Tim Ryan and Terry Bradshaw, where a timeout was charged against the Falcons, and it's Miami first down. Hampton diving over his right guard. Now here's what was happening on the Atlanta sideline. just as the ball was about to be snapped on this first down play before the timeout. Here's Dan Henning. Well, what do you speculate here, Terry?
Well, looking like Henning is looking at his players, and he's calling. He said, I'm not sure. See, now they think he wants a timeout, and I don't think Dan Henning wanted a timeout. He wasn't sure himself, but he gave that indication, that sign, that T sign, that means timeout. So his team called timeout.
So it is 2nd down and 7. We'll find out if that comes back to haunt him. This is a close game, obviously, 10-0, and Miami threatening. Marino, lots of time to the end zone, and intercepted. 4th of the day against Marino. Scott Case. Duper, the intended receiver. Make it Nat Moore, number 89. The intended receiver, but Case had him all away.
They flop their receivers, put 2 on each side, which forces Case to come over and take Nat Moore man for man. Coop, as you can see, Case just reading him. There's the pass. I tell you, not a very good run route. That time, as you can see, Nat Moore did not explode off his break, and he made it very easy for Case to play underneath and make the interception. Look at Dan Marino. He sees it. He knows exactly that he should not have thrown the football.
Well, he had 4 picked off by the Niners earlier this season, and it's happened to him again.
Costly mistake.
Schonert on first down. Complete, a flag down. After about a 5-yard gain to the tight end, Arthur the Beer Truck Cox. The beer truck. Yeah, the beer truck didn't get this.
Well, I knew he was a truck, but I didn't realize he was a beer truck.
Well, that's what his own guys call him, but he didn't get a chance to accelerate it upfield and show us how he's a big 8-wheeler, or 12-wheeler probably.
Well, actually, Cox is so big coming off the line of scrimmage that any kind of movement at all by him, bumping into Jackie Shipp that time, the linebacker that was covering him, knocked Shipp back. And
pass interference, number 88 on the offense. 10-yard penalty, repeat first down.
And there you have it. Of course, the ref looks at it and says, you know, no one can knock anyone back that far unless he pushed off. But that may not have been the case. He's just a big guy.
Well, that was a fender bender by the beer truck, and it cost him. It'll be 1st and 20 back at the 10-yard line. Ryan Sauché comes in on the nose, replacing Nick Charles. For the Dolphins, Sauché number 70. Aroused orange gold crowd. Riggs. David Fry, a pumped up former Falcon.
It's a counter action by the quarterback. You'll notice counter meaning step one way. Now you see Riggs go to the right. Now he comes back. That's a counter. You can see Freilich pulling the right tackle. But a good job by Fry as he knocks off the blocker, that time being Mike Ken, the left tackle, and makes the play.
Boy, I think he's got something to prove to Marion Campbell and trying to do it. And he's been in several very key plays. It's gone all the way since Mark Brown, who came into the game with a pulled groin. He didn't practice much all week. Tried it early in the game, couldn't go, and Fry's been in there. Schonert, man open, and picks up about 12 to Charlie Brown. It'll leave 3rd down and 8. Atlanta at their 23-yard line, a 14-yard gain.
You like throwing on first downs as a quarterback because most teams play zones, and when you throw back to the weak side or to the side away from the tight end, you're throwing over a linebacker and underneath the corner, and it's easy and it's fun and it's easy read. That time, a good job by Schonert.
It'll leave 3rd down and about 7, we'll call it, for the Falcons. Schonert to Charlie Brown. 2 players that came from teams that decided they didn't need them. Brown from the Redskins, Schonert from the Bengals. Hooking up here. Threading the needle, but unable to hold on, was William Andrews out of the backfield. Tight coverage by the Dolphins, and Glenn Blackwood probably got a hand on it.
Well, the defense has certainly played inspired football the second half, and now that's got to filter over to the offense. The offense had an opportunity on a turnover that time to get it in the end zone, but they gave it back with the interception, so now they're getting the football back again.
Rick Donnelly will punt it. Craig Ellis will wait for it at the 34-yard line of Miami.
Oh, nice kick.
Flag down on the punt return as he's forced out of bounds at the 34-yard line. They're 49-yarder from Rick Donnelly.
Excuse me, they're going to throw that flag on Jim Jensen, number 11 of the Dolphins, for blocking in the back, but Jensen did not block in the back. He put his hands on his guy, realized he was going to clip him, and then pulled him back.
Gordon McCarter signals illegal use of hands, and we'll find out if Jensen is the culprit.
Illegal block in the back, number 11 on the receiving team during the return. 10-yard penalty.
Jensen is the
First
guy.
down.
This is a bad call. Now you're going to see Jensen in the left, number 11. Now he realizes that he's fixing to put his hands on a man and block him in the back. But watch, he pulls his hands off. That's no clip. That's no clip.
Boy, if he touched him, it was a Bear sweater grazer, to say the least. We'll be back with Miami at their 25.
Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on.
When you want power that works, lean on the 350 V8, now available in every full-size Chevy. Now fuel injected for the most power and torque of any half-ton pickup.
Madeline Kahn on Having It All.
What is this fascination we have with having it all? Haven't you ever wanted it all? Just a tiny bit. Michelob Light has it all. Superb taste in a less filling beer. But is having it all the answer? Is it really so wonderful to be wealthy, glamorous, and have an unbelievable singing voice?
Stroke Command electronic game. And for us, I even save 40% on this dual-powered calculator. Now we can balance the checkbook.
The Christmas electronic sale, only at Radio Shack.
Well, we were watching Don Shula expressing himself to the officials on the call against Jim Jensen. An illegal block to the back, dropped them back to the 25-yard line on that punt. And it appeared to us that if he made any contact at all, it was just a little grazer. First down pass from Marino. Dan Johnson, the tight end, number 87, out near the 37-yard line of Miami. 12-yard gain, and Denver beaten up on Cincinnati, 31-14.
Marino coming out firing, 4 interceptions, and the thing you have to like about Marino is he's not going to scare back. He's not going to fall down easily. Here's a guy that'll attack to the very end.
Denver trying to get to 10-3, and the Raiders we see losing to the Eagles at halftime. First down of the 36. Hardy stopped just short of yet another Dolphin first down, and Marino starting to crank it up.
Well, he scares you to death. They move the football around so well. Even with Nat Moore in there, he had 5 catches or 99 yards this past Monday night, 2 TDs. Duper's in there. Hardy now makes a key catch. They have so many weapons to work with, and this guy is considered by many to be the finest quarterback playing in the National Football League today. Only player in the history to throw for over 30 touchdowns 3 years in a row.
They're just short of the first down on this one. And remember, talking about their weapons, Clayton out with a separated shoulder. He nearly played. We were at practice on Friday. They said Monday night it looked like he might even go on injured reserve after he got hurt against the Jets. Separated shoulder. They gave him a little cortisone shot. He felt real good for about 3 days. About 3 days.
Friday he was out catching passes, and then we went back and saw him again Saturday, and he said, oh man, he said that shot has worn off. He said, my shoulder is killing me.
Yeah, he took himself out of the lineup. He knew he just wasn't going to be able to get the arm up to catch the ball. Second and about a football they need here. Hampton and Davenport in together. Deep for Duper. To Mark Duper, and don't you love it on second and a football?
Well, you got to admire. They keep striking. Marino with 4 interceptions keeps firing away. That time, Case intercepted him earlier. He came back and said, here, in your eye, Case. Here's one to Duper.
Little high stepping by Super Duper. Marino says, that's more like it. 23 games with at least 1 touchdown pass consecutively now for Dan Marino. Claude Reves with a point after. 3:50 to play. Third quarter, the margin is now 3. And there is Mark Clayton on the left of your screen without the shoulder pads on, congratulating his partner on the other side, Mark Duper. Well, there's plenty more NFL excitement ahead next week. A big battle in the NFC East. The Giants, who play tomorrow night against San Francisco, against the Redskins. Winners today, and now 11-2, a battle for first place. Most of you will see that game. It's an old and bitter rivalry, and that should be a dandy. Tampa Bay and Chicago. Some of you will see that game. The Bears struggling to win in overtime against Pittsburgh today. McMahon gone for the season, but the proud Super Bowl champions have also moved to 11-2. And the Redskins, with their victory today over St. Louis, just by 3, but what a day by Jay Schrader. 256 yards and a pair of touchdowns. And there's that Bears final over Pittsburgh. Kevin Butler with the winning field goal in overtime. Super Duper has the crowd alive here in the Orange Bowl.
Out of Natchitoches, Louisiana, Northwestern State University, my arch rival in college.
I knew you'd get that in. Louisiana man. Reves will kick it off. Williams and Matthews are the deep men. Bouncing kickoff goes out of bounds at the 5-yard line. They'll do it again. Well, we mentioned our NFL activity next Sunday, but Saturday, one of the fun games of the year, Army versus Navy. Even if the game isn't always great, and we expect this one will be a good one, it's just fun to see the cadets and the midshipmen march in and all of the excitement that goes along with the student bodies of those two great military institutions. That's next Saturday, Army-Navy, and followed by the Heisman Trophy Award, the coronation, no doubt, of Vinny Testaverde, who's probably here at the game. He comes most of these Dolphin games.
I wonder what the Greek has put the odds on favorite for Vinny Testaverde to win it. I wonder if he's taking anything on that.
That probably got to be would be the best pick he could make.
Can you imagine the quarterbacks that have come out of this area with Kozar and Jim Kelly and Testaverde? All 3 guys all were on the team at the same time, and of course you're looking at the back of Dan Marino, a Pittsburgher. So was Kelly a Pittsburgher, and Marino, of course, playing down here in Florida.
Reves will have to kick it over again as his first one went out, and they've got the surf going here in the Orange Bowl. Darkness has settled in on the city of Miami, and we have 3:44 to go in the third quarter. It came down at the 10 where Matthews gets it to the 30-yard line. Aubrey Matthews activated today out of Delta State. This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League, intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Miami Dolphins and the National Football League is prohibited. First down, Atlanta from the 31-yard line, and the Orange Bowl crowd hollering defense. They watch their team stop the Jets on Monday night. They're certain they can stop the Falcons. Schonert on the money for a first down to the 45-yard line. Charlie Brown.
You know, Turk Schonert doing a fine job. Good play action. They've been running rigs, getting the linebackers up. Now they go in behind them. Turk doing a good job. You know, I asked him about his name. We were sitting there talking about this name, Turk, and I said, where did you get it? And he said, well, my dad gave it to me, and I asked him, you know, related to my life growing up, if I could change it. He said, when you get 21, we'll talk about changing it. He got to 21, he asked his pop, can I change it? I want to know where you got it. He said, no big deal, I just dreamed it up. Wasn't no fancy, no names, nothing, just Turk.
Nowhere in the family. First down. Schonert to the tight end, Arthur Cox.
Oh, the truck! The truck!
Whoa, I mean, did he put a straight arm on Jackie Shipp?
You're going to see from the right of your screen, going to your left, coming inside, little play action to Riggs, that holds him. Now, there's the truck, Cox coming across, Shipp comes up to pick him, and Jackie Shipp, number 50, is a big linebacker, and he just shoves him down to the ground and rambles on and picks up a key first down for the Falcons.
Schonert likes to throw it to him just to see him run. He says something fun always happens when he catches the ball. Saw some fun there for Atlanta. First down, Falcons. Gerald Riggs gets about 3. The 40-yard line of the Dolphins. And that quiets the crowd as they move downfield into Miami territory. 1:50 remaining, third quarter. Atlanta by 3. Gerald Riggs over the 100-yard mark for the day, over the 1,000-yard mark for the season earlier. He's got 102 on the afternoon. 2nd and 7. Riggs again. There's another 2 or 3. That's his 25th carry of the game. George Little made the stop. The number 2 pick a year ago from Iowa, number 99. 4 new defenders come on for the passing down. 3rd and 5. Mark Duper's touchdown pass put him over the 1,000-yard mark for the season in pass receiving. For Miami, William Andrews, the lone setback. Schonert for Williams, complete to the 6-yard line, Keith Williams. And he had Donovan Rose draped all over him. The little guy, 5'10", 173 pounds from Southwest Missouri. What a catch.
You're going to see a nice play action, well, not a play action. Andrews coming up to pick up the blitz. You saw Schonert look to his left to free the weak safety and then throw the football right over number 25. That's Mike Smith, who had that time Keith Williams, man for man, down the center of the football field. Excellent throw by Turk Schonert.
Donovan Rose arrived right as the ball did, and great concentration by Williams. And a fine pass by Schonert as time expires, with Atlanta knocking on the door again. At the Miami 10-yard line, that's the end of the third quarter with the score. Atlanta 10, Miami 7. We pause for a word from your local station.
This is CBS. CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by the investment firm of Smith Barney. They make money the old-fashioned way. They earn it. Michelob Light, super premium taste and less filling beer. And by Napa Auto Parts, with all the right parts in all the right places.
Listen to this Dolphin crowd. Atlanta, 1st and goal from the Miami 8. Riggs inside the 5. Right now, let's go to Brent Musburger for an update on the Raiders and the Eagles.
Tim, here was the big moment for the Raiders, and it came a short time ago. Plunkett, 49 yards. Hester, touchdown, Los Angeles. And the Raiders have gone ahead of Philly 17-13, back to 10.
Jim Plunkett. Every time I see how well he does, I ask why you aren't still playing.
I'm too old.
So's he. Second and goal. Schoenert. Oh, good move. He'll score. Touchdown, Turk Schoenert.
Turk Schoenert doing an excellent job of scrambling around. The first move he makes here, Tim, is just really unbelievable. A little play action to Riggs, trying to get his man open in the flat. He's covered. Now watch this move. Looking back across the field, fixing to be sacked by, as you can see, Little. Now he escape him, gets outside. Cox is open, but he decides to take it in. Now he's going to get by Blackwood. Now Ship comes up and just gives him a forearm in the face. As you can see, 50. Now look at Schoenert, says, take this, and slams it right in his face.
Ali Haji Sheikh for the point after try. And the Falcons widen the lead again, and Schoenert comes off limping. But Atlanta with an impressive drive and a gutty display by this guy. Number 14 leads by 10.
John Houseman for the investment firm of Smith Barney.
This gentleman just wiped me out with a roll of the dice. But when it comes to real investing, with real money, consider Smith Barney, where wiser heads than mine scrutinize every possibility, because good investments don't happen by chance. Smith Barney. They make money the old-fashioned way. They earn it.
Welcome to the auto show.
We need an inexpensive,
dependable
first car. See the Yugo. I need a tough little car. See the Yugo. We need a safe,
economical
second car. Oh, see the Yugo.
For most of the reasons you need a car, the Yugo is all the car you need.
Wow, $39.90.
That's right. The 87 Yugo GV is still only $39.90. Everybody needs a Yugo sometime. Yugo, $39.90.
Madeline Kahn on having it all.
What is this fascination we have with having it all? Haven't you ever wanted it all? Just a tiny bit. Michelob Light has it all. Superb taste in a less filling beer. But is having it all the answer? Is it really so wonderful to be wealthy, glamorous, and have an unbelievable singing voice? Yes!
Michelob Light, you can have it all.
You're looking at Turk Schoenert trying to run off a bruise to his leg when he made that touchdown run, Tim. Evidently, when Ship comes up and decks him, he gets the injury. Look at Blackwood flies by him. He gets inside for the touchdown. But now look at this. Now, we've heard so much about roughing of the quarterbacks and penalties and fines going on, but looks to me like there's the forearm right to the head. He's into the end zone.
Well, we'll give Ship the benefit of the doubt that he may have thought he could stop Schoenert before he got in the end zone. Couldn't stop his momentum, but nonetheless, as you point out, he got that forearm right up in his jawbone. All he got was a lot of metal on the face mask. Craig Ellis returning the kickoff. And a flag down on the play, got to the 22-yard line. Stopped there by Jimmy Turner, one of the newly activated defenders in the secondary of Atlanta. And let's see whether there was an illegal block there. On that last drive, Atlanta used up 4:43 on the clock, and that's very important when it's Dan Marino you're keeping off the field.
Illegal block in the back, number 34, receiving team.
Well, that evens those up.
First and 10.
Woody Bennett charged with the illegal block on the back. Actually doesn't even them up. I was thinking of the Jensen one, so that's been 2 against Miami. Don't forget Saturday, Army-Navy live, 2 o'clock Eastern time. And then the Heisman Trophy Award show at 5:30. Guarantee an interview with a young quarterback from the University of Miami, at least on our exciting Heisman Trophy show. Highlights of everything he's ever done. That's complete and in and out of the hand, so it'll be an incomplete pass. Duper had the ball, but the shot from behind by James Britt popped it loose. Incomplete.
That's a couple of passes today we've seen Duper drop. You're going to see at the very end as James Britt, 26, the corner, is driven deep by Duper. Duper comes underneath. The ball is laid right in his lap. Easy catch, but he just drops it. Looks to me like he has those gloves on, and we know all about the gloves, don't we, Mr. Ryan?
Well, Duper wears those all the times here, and it's 80 degrees here in the Orange Bowl, but he likes the feel of those scuba gloves. In fact, we've got a couple of the gloves here, a pair of gloves actually, in the booth. Marino connects out the left side to Davenport, and good coverage on him immediately. Buddy Curry dropped him, holding him to about a 5-yard gain. It'll lead 3rd and 5. Seems that so many of the receivers choose to wear these gloves now, whether the weather is warm or cold. It started, of course, for cold weather activity, but a lot of them like the feel of them.
Can you see that?
Yeah.
Those rubber gloves, nice and soft. Those are scuba diving gloves, and actually when the ball hits them, it seems to me that they would pop, the ball would pop out. We've seen a couple of examples of that today by Duper, of the ball hitting in these gloves and then bouncing back out.
Well, must work, because he caught 52 coming into the game, but he lost that one.
They work up north where it's cold, Tim. This is warm. This is Florida.
Marino. Sideliner incomplete, intended for Jensen. He and Pruitt were both there in the same area, but the ball went out of bounds, incomplete, and Miami will have to punt.
Duper's having a rough day. As you can see, he's dropped a couple of passes, made the key touchdown catch, a 54-yard TD. Now look at this, just being absolutely beat up by James Britt. Hands all over him, jamming him, pulling his shoulder pad out, saying, no way am I going to allow you to roam free through my secondary.
Reggie Roby ready to punt. Dixon waiting for it at the 45-yard line of Atlanta. 12:54 to play regulation time. Roby launches another of his missiles. Dixon bouncing around, but excellent coverage by the Dolphins. Drops him at the 45. 48-yard punt by Roby. Atlanta leads by 10.
Everybody needs a Yugo sometime.
I bought my Yugo because now I can afford a brand new car.
I think it's fun to drive, and it beats my old carpool.
I like the rack and pinion steering and the front wheel drive.
We wanted a dependable second car.
And this Yugo's just what we need.
The 87 Yugo GV is still only $39.90. Call 1-800-USA-YUGO for the dealer nearest you.
Everybody needs a Yugo sometime.
All the right parts in all the right places. Napa's putting smiles on American faces.
When you go with Napa, you go with confidence.
We're back at the Orange Bowl. First down, Falcons. Gerald Riggs. He talked about how he runs low, Terry. He looked like a mole going through there at that time, but he kept it all going forward. Got 5 yards.
This is one of the few runs that Riggs has made today that he didn't cut back. But the thing that was so smart by him that time, Tim, was that he got in behind Mike Ken, the left tackle, and Scully, his left guard, and he slowed down and let them make their blocks, and then he exploded through and picked up 4 or 5 yards.
There's his afternoon as Mike Charles, an injured Dolphin on the play, the nose man. 111 yards, 27 carries. Riggs earning his money this afternoon.
Charles, I saw him, met him, talked to him the other day, and he had his little lovely daughter with him, and I said, gosh, she's awfully pretty. He said, yeah, she's going to be just like me. And I said, if she's just like you, she will never have a date. Had his daddy down from New Jersey. Everyone had their family down for the holiday weekend. It was nice to see.
It really was. I was talking with John Offerdahl's dad. He must have taken 100 pictures in about 5 minutes there in the practice field. His family was down. There were many of the families here visit their sons on the Dolphins. So Mike Charles, the 4-year man from Syracuse, has to go to the sidelines. Doug Betters comes in. Brian Soche comes in. It's 2nd down and 5. Riggs, big hole. Brown in pursuit. Gets him at the 28-yard line of the Miami Dolphins. Bud Brown with help from Renee Thompson. 31 yards for Riggs.
Bill Fralick was drafted out of college as a tackle. Key block that time coming down on T.J. Turner, allowing Riggs to break outside. Both Jamie Dukes at guard and Fralick, outstanding blocks, sealing off the inside, and then Riggs turning it on to the outside.
145 yards. Now remember, Hampton had 148 Monday night against the Jets. Atlanta has held him in check, and Gerald Riggs is saying, hey, I'm the guy with the running back reputation here. 3 years at 1,000, and he's showing his goods today. William Andrews.
This has been a classic case today of a great rushing team, number 2 ranked in the NFL, going against the 26th ranked defense in the National Football League in the Dolphins. And when you run and when you have the power to run the football against a weak defense, according to the statistics, then it plays in the favor of the team that can do that as compared to the team that can strike quickly.
332 yards total for Atlanta. Riggs with 145 of those. 2nd down and 7 after Andrews picked up 3. Dixon with a flag down, and he gets to the 15-yard line, but let's see if they'll get to keep that yardage or not. But Brown made the stop. It's against Atlanta. Well, even the Dolphins themselves were not deluded by the fact that they were running against a crippled Jets defensive front on Monday night.
55 on the offense, 10-yard penalty, repeat 2nd down.
Wayne Radloff to center, pointing to the ref saying, me, I made that? You got to be kidding. I'm down here, got my nose in this mud all night. How can I possibly make a bad block? 55, right in the center now. Is that a block? Is that holding? I think not. It looks to me like the nose tackle's pinning him.
Brian Sauché in the little Greco-Roman wrestling act with Radloff. 2nd and 15 back at the 35 now. Riggs again. He gets the 5 back. It'll leave 3rd and 10 from the 30-yard line.
You know, offensively, if you have a tackle on your offensive line, the tackle you want to be your strongest is always your right tackle, because as a right-handed running football team, which most teams are in the National Football League, your right side is your power side, Tim. That's the side you will run on, and then you want your good finesse tackle, the guy that has the quick hands and feet, on your blind side, because the quarterback can't see, and that's the guy that has to be quick and save your quarterback from being sacked.
Last week, 7 sacks against Schonert, 1 against Scott Campbell. But they've been doing the job today. Schonert, and that is almost picked out. Donovan Rose knocked it away, intended for Floyd Dixon. Schonert got it up a little high for Dixon, and Rose had the better shot at catching the ball.
It's one of those 2 deep zones that you hear so much about. You have to wait and wait and wait and try to get a guy down the middle, but if you wait too long, then you give the free safety opportunity to read the quarterback's eyes and then make a break on that receiver in the area, and that's exactly what number 26, Donovan Rose, did.
So Haji Sheikh will attempt the field goal from the 37-yard line, a 47-yard try. He's 1 for 2 today, and he's got it. Ali Haji Sheikh, struggling after injuries while a New York Giant let go by New York, finds a home in Atlanta and widens the lead to 20-7.
All the right parts in all the right places. Napa's putting smiles on American faces.
When you go with Napa, you go with confidence, because every Napa brand part is backed by the Napa National Warranty Program, the most extensive parts warranty program available. There's even a toll-free number to put you in touch with the nearest Napa Auto Parts store. So make sure it's Napa, because Napa keeps you going wherever you go.
All the right parts in all the right places. Napa.
Afraid to try Michelob Classic Dark because it might just be a little too full-bodied and rich? That's what you look for in a date, isn't it? Come on, try Michelob Classic Dark. Don't be afraid of the dark.
Why don't you use a food processor?
They're too big, too complicated, and too hard to clean.
Not the Oscar from Sunbeam.
Cute.
It's easy to use.
Quick. powerful. It's even easy to clean.
Oscar from Sunbeam. Make someone's holiday special.
The Big Blue Wrecking Crew of the Giants, the aerial precision of Jay Schrader and the Redskins, the NFC East leaders collide next Sunday on CBS Sports.
Tim Ryan and Terry Bradshaw back here at the Orange Bowl, where the Atlanta Falcons, a surprising 20-7 lead. 4 interceptions against Dan Marino today, just 1 touchdown pass.
Now that is surprising. The surprising that they're leading, no, I would not think, but the 4 interceptions I think is very surprising.
Well, only 1 touchdown pass by Marino, 1 touchdown period by this #1 offense in the entire NFL. That's surprising indeed. But the Falcons, a 5-6-1 team that's played solid defense all year long. That's been the big difference today, and Turk Schoner's done enough offensively for sure.
Oh, what a kick.
Dolphins are saying it went out of bounds after it crossed the goal line. Let's see what we're going to get here. Touchback or not? They're bringing it out. Yeah, it's a touchback. It looked like a Dolphin was fearful that...
well, you can see it rolling, not rolling.
Yeah, he thought they were going to call it out of bounds before it went over.
Craig Ellis sitting there waiting, saying no, but if it hops over the little pylon, the little orange thing in the corner, then that's in. That's good.
Yeah, he wanted another chance to run it back, I think. He likes those run backs. But they'll start from the 20. Dan Marino checking out that Atlanta defense for giving him fits today. Got a man this time. Matt Moore all the way to the 44-yard line.
Now, one of the things that happened that time was Atlanta refused to send any of their linebackers, hoping that their 3-down linemen could put the pressure on Marino. That time they didn't do the job, and Marino had all the time in the world to sit there and wait for Moore to cross over and get open.
First down from the 45. Intended for Tony Nathan, number 22, a veteran who makes those good plays out of the backfield, and Lorenzo Hampton, who has become the starting running back, is also an excellent pass receiver, 45 catches into the game, and he's almost a clone of Nathan in terms of the skills that Tony Nathan presented. The 29-year-old, 8-year veteran now in there getting some time.
Dolphins running a 2-minute offense right now, calling 2 plays in the huddle with 8 minutes and 30 seconds and counting. They're getting into their offense, trying to strike quickly.
Turner and Kaysen in on 2nd and 10 into the Atlanta secondary. Inside handoff for Tony Nathan. Got about 6 yards to midfield. It'll leave 3rd and a long 4. Let's take you now to Brent Musburger for an update on that Eagles-Raiders game.
Well, Tim, Randall Cunningham to Mike Quick, and it's causing fits for the Raider defense. Another touchdown, hits him, and now the Raiders moments ago have come back with a touchdown, and Los Angeles is ahead even as we speak. Let's go back to Tim Ryan.
Well, that sounds like a gong ringer. The Eagles and the Raiders. 3rd down, a long 4 here as Marino trying to play catch-up. Good catch by Matt Moore. It's inside the 40 to the 38, and they're in the hurry-up.
Well, the offense of the Dolphins is an offense that throws the football over 600 times a year, and most people say that this 2-minute offense that they're running now is no different than the first 3 quarters when it's almost like a 2-minute offense. Marino throwing the football.
And the shotgun again. And that one off target. Jensen slipped, trying to run an out. The coverage on him was good, but he fell down, and there was no chance to complete that one. It was Robert Moore who was covering him. Number 34.
You know, watching the Dolphins practice, I've often said there are two coaches I would like to have played for, Shula and Landry, and to gather the knowledge and see how they work. And in watching Shula's practice, I was impressed with the fact that they spent 30 minutes, mind you, on the 2-minute offense. And they do that every day. As a Steeler, we worked on it maybe 5 minutes on Saturday after the kicking game, and everybody was out messing around.
I won't extend the commentary involved there.
Why not?
Shula.
Oh, wide open.
Duper, first down to the 17-yard line.
Calling out the plays, set the formation. Now he's making the adjustments, using his hands, hollering 4, 4. That's the play.
21-yard gain. Oh, dropped by Tony Nathan. 2 drops in a row by Nathan. Marino now 14 of 28. It'll leave 2nd and 10. Nathan is now taking the gloves off. I love to see that.
But he didn't have on the
Scubas. No, he's
Scubas.
got like the golf
He had on the golf
on.
gloves, which are leather. And if you get a leather glove wet, then obviously it's very, very slippery. And that time he's dropped 2, so off come the gloves.
Never forget watching Mike Ditka the first time he saw one of his receivers. I think it was Matt Suey drop a ball with the gloves on. He practically went out onto the field to pull them off for him. 2nd and 10. Marino complete. First down inside the 5. A flag down. Duper made the catch, and the flag came right after he caught it. And it looks like it's against Miami, judging by Marino's reaction.
Pushing off, they're calling it on Duper.
.650 to go regulation time. Atlanta 20, Miami 7.
Cross interference, number 85 offense. 10-yard penalty, repeat the down.
There's not enough room down in here. So that a lot of times in tight coverage like this is James Britt, 26, is all over Duper. He comes inside, he goes outside. Tell me where the push-off is.
Yeah,
if there's anything, it's holding on Britt.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, if we've got another opportunity, well, we don't. But
we don't need another opportunity on that one. My eyes are good.
Call. I thought that was a good call. He did. He pushed off on him.
Oh, gosh.
Sure he did. Don't forget that defender and give him that first bump, Terry. 2nd down and 20. The middle, it's complete. And they're right back near the first down marker. Duper.
2 plays.
Fine catch. It'll be very close to a first down at the 7-yard line. Marino's ready to go. He's hoping they're going to mark that first down.
Marino has an offensive formation that's set on every play, and all he's doing is calling out the plays with his hands, using his hand signals to tell them exactly what he wants. Now they're measuring for a first down, so he sneaks over to the sideline and checks with Don Strock and Shula to say, what do you want to do? What do you want to do?
Well, they just signaled it was short by about 2 inches, it would appear. 3rd down, and a whisper for the first down at the 7-yard line.
Now, one of the things they have to do to get their first down is take out their speedy wide receivers and bring in their tight ends and running backs. Now, if they make this first down, these people have to either stay in or they go out of the game and bring in their passing offense.
Falcons rushing in defenders for the short yardage play. 2 tight ends are in. They have the first down and goal.
Now out goes the big guys, and in come the little quick guys, and now they get back into their passing offense. If that's exactly what they want to do, which I'm sure it is.
Lorenzo Hampton takes it to the 4. Back come the Atlanta defenders against the pass.
Confusion on Atlanta's part.
One too many guys racing off the field. Marino for Pruitt, incomplete. Broken up on the little fade in the quarter by number 20, Wendell Kaysen.
Marino reminds me of Kenny Stabler, and the fact that no matter what lead you have, when he was in the football game, I always felt like we were going to lose. He had that ability, that aura about him, that everyone rallies around him, and no matter how bad a day he's had, you just felt like he was going to make something good happen to him. And Marino, with 4 interceptions and only 1 TD, gives that impression. Everyone senses and feels that something big is going to happen.
And with 5:23 to go, it's possible. Nathan.
Holding.
Down. Marino signaled touchdown. Nobody else did. And the call will be apparently against the Dolphins. Holding. Dolphins, normally a disciplined team.
Holding, number 57 offense. 10-yard penalty from the previous start. Repeat second down.
Stevenson, the center, the All-Pro, gets called for the hold, and you know he hates that on a running play. Fewest number of penalties by any team this season, the Dolphins.
Right in front of Marino, you'll see Stevenson, 57, go to the left. And as you see, when he goes to the left, he locks that right arm and pushes and holds on, and that's where the flag was thrown, holding on Casillas. He was holding Casillas, number 75, the nose tackle.
Dolphins backed up now to the 14-yard line. Tim Green comes in defensively on second down. Flag down again. The pass complete. Touchdown. Super duper Mark Duper, but a flag down again.
Either going to be an illegal pick on behalf of Miami, or he was illegal motion, which means the receiver coming in motion, which would have been Pruitt, was going toward the line of scrimmage prior to the snap, which is an illegal motion.
The Dolphins hurting
illegal
themselves.
motion, number 82 offense. 5-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
The eye of an eagle, Bradshaw, picks up the infraction against the rookie James Pruitt.
Number 82, left of your screen, turns and goes in motion. Now, he can do this as long as he's parallel to the line of scrimmage. But prior to the snap of the football, you'll see him right there go down toward the line of scrimmage. That's illegal motion. That's why they threw the flag.
Green stays in.
All the more exciting.
Lineman. Ball back at the 19-yard line. Marino has Jensen, and it's over his head, incomplete.
Interesting coverage that time, Tim. They took their safeties and faked the zone look and then put them on top of one another. One went straight in the middle of the field at 10 yards, and the other safety was 10 yards behind him, and the reason they did that was to take away any inside route at all.
Marion Campbell with the instructions for the next play. Defensively for Atlanta.
He has a 3-year contract. Henning has a 1-year contract.
Yes?
Yes.
Well,
nice security there. It's kind of reversed, but they had to do that to get Marion Campbell. That's the only way he would come down.
And Henning backed that. That didn't bother him at all. He wanted Campbell. Third down. Marino in traffic and gets it up, incomplete, and almost picked up on the rebound. Duper, the intended receiver. James Britt got in the way of that one, might have popped off his shoulder pad.
Every route that's been run by Miami has been inside, crossing inside. It seems like they need to bring their receivers in now, go inside, drive up, and now work back outside because the inside has not been open. No one has been open on the last 3 passes.
Well, they're down to the last of it here, Terry. They've got 4th down at the 19-yard line. They're trailing 20-7, 4:32 to go.
You got to go for it. There's no question here that
they not only got to go for it.
You're down 20-7, certainly.
Yeah, they got to get it in the end zone. Is what they have to do. Lots of time for him. Takes the short man, and Nathan is pulled down from behind by Williams. Joel Williams stops him at the 6, and Atlanta will take over.
Did an outstanding job, the corners and the safeties, of doubling both wide receivers. They took 2 linebackers, and they covered the tight end, put the back out one-on-one. Joel Williams did an outstanding job of stopping them.
Students are always going places. Now there's a powerful computer that can go with them, the IBM PC Convertible. It goes from chemistry to economics, from ancient civilization to modern civilization. The IBM PC Convertible is a smart gift because students can carry an IBM computer anywhere, even into the future.
If only things lasted longer. If only their warranties lasted longer. If only you had bought them with the American Express card. Because from now until December 31st, we will extend the free repair period of the manufacturer's warranty. In fact, we'll double it, up to an extra year. American Express introduces Buyer's Assurance. Now, if something breaks, it won't break you. Just use the card and, of course, register your purchases with Buyer's Assurance from American Express.
Well, on our way back to Tim Ryan, the Washington Redskins today clinched at least a wild card berth in the playoffs. Jay Schrader had another hot afternoon for Coach Joe Gibbs. There he is, throwing a touchdown pass to Gary Clark. So after that victory by the Skins, the NFC East standings show the Redskins a half game ahead of the New York Giants, who play on Monday night against San Francisco. And then next week, the big one, of course, matches those two teams up, the Giants and the Redskins, live. Our coverage begins at 12:30 Eastern Time. Now let's send you back to Tim Ryan.
All right, Brent. Well, Terry, we said at the outset of this game that the loser was pretty much done. It came down to that last gasp effort by Marino. He tried his best but couldn't get it done today.
Well, the fourth down pass there, Tim, could have been the biggest play of the entire season. They get that thing in the end zone, then there's the hopes for the Dolphins are still alive. But that fourth down right there could very well have sealed the fate for the Dolphins for 1986.
And for Atlanta, the slender chance to stay alive for a playoff shot remains, as it appears that they will go on to win this game. 4:20 to go, 20-7 the score, and it would take some real kind of miracles for the Dolphins to pull this out, but we have a false start charged against the Falcons, so they go backwards deep in their own end. But looking at that jumbled NFC West division, the Rams won today. San Francisco plays on Monday night.
78 offense, still first down.
New Orleans lost today, so Atlanta will move to 6-1, and New Orleans is at 6-7. That's assuming, of course, an Atlanta victory here, and we still have 4:20 remaining. We're cognizant of that. The Rams move up to a 9-4 atop the NFC West. So Atlanta kind of hanging on by a thread. Gerald Riggs.
Miami, number 1.
Miami takes a timeout here just to keep that clock stopped as best they can. We'll have 2nd and 10 when play resumes. You know Don Shula will not go gently into that good night. Don't forget, as we talk about the standings and the playoff picture coming more sharply into focus, that next Sunday, what a dandy, the Giants and Washington. The Redskins with a victory over St. Louis today, now at 11-2. The Giants play Monday night against the 49ers. Most of you will see that big game in the NFC East. Tampa Bay and Chicago. The Bears moved to 11-2 today. Ditka's team somehow continues to get it done. They know McMahon's gone for the year, but they've got defense. 12:30 Eastern Time, the action begins, and there's a look at that East Division race with the Cowboys pretty much out of it now.
You're right.
And Philadelphia, of course, back in the pack, but showing that under Buddy Ryan, they've got some character, battling the Raiders today.
Giants, Sims playing well, Morris playing well, Schrader, and of course, the fine running back they have there doing an outstanding job.
George Rogers, and a good defense, too, on the part of the Redskins, even though the Giants generally get more recognition for defense. The Redskins, as we've seen them several times this year, play some pretty solid defense.
Well, they play good defense, and they have that big guy throwing the football, Schrader, who has an arm very much like this young man, Marino, throwing the football down here today. And they've got those great receivers, and just an exciting football team. The Giants and the Redskins, of course, it surprised a lot of folks that the Cowboys are maybe out of it, possibly, probably are.
2nd and 10 Atlanta, trying to use up the clock here in the Orange Bowl. Get back up to 6-1. You know, I hesitated on your allusion to the fact that Henning has a 1-year contract and Marion Campbell has 3, as they call another timeout, because there are rumors already that Henning, who came into this season on shaky ground, may have found the ice even a little thinner, to double up the metaphor, as his team has struggled through 5 consecutive defeats. He's really got to finish well to ensure the fact that he'll still be here with Campbell, and I think he's very aware of that. There he is on the sideline with Turk Schonert, and a chance to remind you about our outstanding programming this evening on CBS. It begins with 60 Minutes, as if the Iranian arms deal was not mind-boggling enough. How about the $2 million sting operation that went along with it? Find out all about that on 60 Minutes tonight on CBS. And then an all-star party for Clint
Eastwood, my buddy.
In a fascinating story of a man whose imagination was magic. Barnum, starring Burt Lancaster. That sounds.
Did you ever
like
want to
fun.
be in the circus?
No.
You ever been to one of those big tops where they drive the stakes in a field? When I used to live in Iowa, I'll never forget the elephants walking down the street and going into this field, and they started driving these, put a tent up right there in the middle of the field. I never seen anything like that. And then I went up there that night. My mother got me some popcorn and went in and saw these. I'd never been to a circus before, and especially one out in a dog patch like that. It was unbelievable. Barnum should be interesting tonight. I hope my wife tapes it for me so I can watch it when I get home sometime tomorrow.
Nothing more exciting than going to the circus, especially into the Big Top. You know, the Big Top's almost gone now. I mean, there's very little of that anymore. They all play in the indoor arenas now.
The smell is what I'll never forget. The elephants and the lions and the hamburgers and hot dogs.
Well, you're looking at our view from the Orange Bowl, and pretty soon there'll be no more Dolphins games here. August 16th, they open the preseason in their new stadium. A little naked reverse by Schonert. And that's pretty gutsy play out over the 15-yard line with time winding down, and with Archer already on the sidelines.
Turk may have been wondering why he was named Turk when he asked his dad would he explain it to him someday, and his dad said he would and didn't misled him, and when he was 21 said, sorry son, there was nothing to it. But Turk Schonert can be very proud of his efforts today, coming into the Orange Bowl against the Dolphins, coming off that big win, and then directing this offense, and directing, I might add, kind of flawless, using the running game well, the play action, going to the right people. I think he's just had an outstanding day.
I would agree, and he's got a steak named after him. You got a steak named after you? Next week we're talking about, we'll come back to, that's important to know. Next week we told you about the Giants and the Redskins. And I think we're going to show you some of the excitement that you can count on in that battle. That these guys don't like each other, believe me, the Giants and the Redskins. The NFC East matchup. And there's Lawrence Taylor. He says, we get those junkyard dogs going out there. Play like crazed dogs. And he usually does. Joe Morris, what a year he's had. And for the Redskins, Rodgers. I mean, what a running back matchup. And Dexter Manley having his best year ever. He's been crashing quarterbacks all season long. Giants and Redskins next week.
Ought to be a great one.
Okay, now, did you ever have a steak named after you?
No, I never had any food items named after me.
Not even a sandwich? No.
I don't think so. Maybe the flat top. Is there such a thing as a flat top sandwich?
Well, Turk Schonert had a steak named after him in Pete Rolls' restaurant in Cincinnati.
Named?
It's called Steak a la Turk.
Steak a la Turk.
Yeah,
was it any good?
I haven't had it, but he tells me it's good. It comes with steak.
How big was it?
Comes with steak. I'm glad to hear that. With onions and mushrooms.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, on their flight home tonight, maybe he'll have steak a la Turk. I know Miami would be glad to get the Turk out of here.
Rick Donnelly will kick it from the 1-yard line with 3:55 to go.
Ooh.
Craig Ellis. He's got a little running room. Oh, and he slips on that muddy turf in the middle of the field and gets nowhere. He had some room on the right side, headed toward it and lost his footing. Aaron Brown and Robert Moore there. Make sure he didn't get up.
Now you can look for the 2-minute offense of the Dolphins to go into action again. You know, we're sitting here talking about steaks and circuses, but with 3:44 left, Tim, and as quickly as this Dolphin offense can strike, you gotta say to yourself, and I'm sure the Falcons are, that hey, we're not out of here with a victory yet.
Well, yes, but as our spotter Terry Kane reminds us, they have no timeouts left. They had to call those defensive timeouts, and so they would need miracles to pull this off. Marina gets it to Tony Nathan, and he's upset but has what appears to be a first down or very close to it, depending on the spot. And he's got it at the 45-yard line of the Falcons.
Playing a soft zone on the first down. Now let's see what the mixture will be now on second down. Do they tighten up on the receivers?
Marino's got a lot of running room. Slides into the 30. Gets his pants muddy and a first down.
Well, that little slide fired the crowd up. Now they're down to the 32 and moving.
Intended for Pruitt. Knocked away by the defender, James Britt. Now, Britt, starting today for the injured David Crudup, had lost his job earlier in the season. He had been a starter. And with Bobby Butler going down, Crudup got the corner spot. Britt's played strongly in this game. A flag down, meanwhile, back up at the line of scrimmage. Last week, the Falcons gave up 8 sacks to the 49ers.
Holding, 57, offense, 10-yard penalty, repeat first down.
They've given up none today, and that has helped Turk Schonert's apparent winning effort. Stevenson picks up another penalty, and it'll be 1st and 20 from the 41-yard line of the Atlanta Falcons. And as the Dolphins have failed to generate a sack, also the Falcons have yet to get a sack today. A sackless football game. Jensen to the 30-yard line. Coverage by Scott Case on James Pruitt. They are the consummate bend but don't break defense, aren't they, Terry?
That's true. That has always been a theory that Marion Campbell has had, is that they'll bend a little bit, but they won't give up the big play, although they did give up a big one earlier today to Duper, 54-yard TD strike, but they bend, don't break, and they confuse you. And talking to Marino, he says they confuse you. They give you one look and you think you have something, and then when you turn the ball loose, it's not there. And we saw that a good example in the first half when Ratty was hit in the back of the head by a football Marino thought he had in there to Duper. But coming into this game, the Dolphins are a quick strike offense, a possession. Plant your feet and throw the football without looking at the receiver, and it's cost them today.
You know, through 12 games a year ago, the Falcons had given up 357 points. That'll be first down yardage to the 20-yard line. And Marino hurries him up as Nathan caught that one. We're down to the 2-minute warning. And in 2 seconds. And he gets the play off. Incomplete. Off a hand into the end zone. It'll be 2nd and 10 when time resumes as we hit the 2-minute warning. I mentioned 357 points. A year ago through 12 games, only 218 points given up by Marion Campbell's team so far this year. We'll be right back here at the Orange Bowl.
I don't know. What are you going to do? I don't know. I'd go to college.
Me too.
If I had the money.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do? I don't know. What are you going to do? You don't want those fries.
What are you going to do, Jack? Eat your way to college?
Really? I'm going to college on the new GI Bill. You serve full-time in the armed forces or part-time in the reserves, and you earn a lot of money for tuition.
The new GI Bill.
Are you using that pickle?
Now for young men and women in the armed forces. It's a great place to start. See your local recruiter.
Take me back where I belong. Take me where this heart was born. Just take me as I am and let me stay. Take me where I want to be, through the miles of memories. Make me feel like I never went away. Take me home, good year, take me home. Never matters how far I go, never matters how far I go. Good year, take me home.
Afraid to try Michelob Classic Dark because it might just be a little too full-bodied and rich? That's what you look for in a date, isn't it? Come on, try Michelob Classic Dark. Don't be afraid of the dark.
Snowflakes in Miami. Believe it or not. Well, actually, just Christmas decorations on one of the skyscrapers here in the Miami skyline. We are at the Orange Bowl. And the Dolphins at the 20-yard line, 2nd and 10 of Atlanta, down 20-7, 1:56 remaining. Tim Ryan and Terry Bradshaw watching Dan Marino trying to make miracles. Touchdown! Jensen. No flags. Well, Jensen has had his problems today, Terry. A couple of drops, a slip, a wrong route, but he came up here.
It's a zone pass read all the way by Marino, looking to his left. Notice his net look to the left. Now he turns around and just fires the football, throws the football in there. It goes right by Robert Moore's head. This is a route that they had run 3 times in a row, and they finally completed it.
Quadreves with a point after. So the Dolphins have provided some last-minute excitement. 1:50 still remains. Miami has no timeouts, and the Falcons will have the ball next. You can expect the onside kick from Atlanta, 20-14. The converted touchdown could pull off the miracle for the Dolphins. Both coaches with their teams in the critical huddles, making sure that everybody understands what will happen on the kickoff play. Atlanta, no doubt, will have the so-called hands team on the field.
Well, you come in here with your wide receivers and your running backs, people that are used to handling the football. They're going to kick an onside kick. It has to go 10 yards, but you can run up and get it. The receiving team can prior to the 10 yards if it's a good, easy bounce. But you put these guys in here that can handle the football, that can go ahead and fall on it and give your team the football. Right now, with 1:50 remaining, Tim, as I had said earlier, you can't ever relax against the Dolphins because they throw, and eventually they're going to get it in the end zone. 20-14 is good evidence of that. Now all those 5 days of kicking that Reyes has talked about during the week, they lift weights, and they kick every day, which is kind of unusual for a kicker, but they practice every day, hours, he and Roby, on lifting weights and kicking. So this is a situation now that he has to shine. This is one big chance to be the hero of the day. Kick that ball down there, a squib kick or whatever, the double bounce, hop up and allow one of your receivers to grab it in midair and maybe sprint to the goal line.
They have Andrews, Riggs, Arthur Cox, and Charlie Brown along the front line for the Atlanta Falcons, along with Scott Case, Stacy Bailey, guys that can catch the football.
Notice the double layer. There's a double layer of receivers in case they try to just punch kick it over the first group of people's head. They need people back there to recover it, and that's why you see a double layer of people.
Atlanta has the football.
I don't know who recovered that onside kick, but he took a blow and did a heck of a job of hanging on.
Stacy Bailey, who couldn't start today at wide receiver because of an ankle injury, did not appear in the game at that position. Put in this spot here because he can catch the football, took the shot, and got his pants dirty for the first time today. .150 remains at the Orange Bowl. Tim Ryan and Terry Bradshaw, where the Atlanta Falcons are leading the Miami Dolphins 20-14, and the onside kick attempt by the Dolphins after they had just scored to close the margin to 20-14 was grabbed by Atlanta. 4 interceptions against Marino today, 155 yards rushing by Gerald Riggs of the Falcons. The story of the game thus far. And we will be going to 60 minutes following the completion of our telecast from the Orange Bowl in Miami. An outstanding evening of entertainment ahead, all starting off with a special story on the Iran situation on 60 Minutes.
You don't have to run a play now. With 1:24 and counting, 3 plays remaining, you can eat 30 seconds off the clock on each play and not run the football and risk the fumble.
It is 2nd and 9. Clint Eastwood and Burt Lancaster as Barnum follow 60 Minutes tonight. It's all coming up shortly here on CBS. Atlanta football, they have the lead and an opportunity to move to 6-1 and keep their slim playoff hopes alive. Riggs breaks loose. What a day he's had, but the ball comes loose. And it is whistled dead. Atlanta ball at the 29. And the remaining faithful in the Orange Bowl don't like that at all. Dan Henning says, hey, it was down, guys, just cover it. 40 seconds and ticking off.
Excellent job by Riggs of getting outside. Blackwood coming in to strip the football from him. All right, he's down. That's a good call by the ref. I don't understand, to be honest with you, why you would even want to hand the football and exchange it at all. Just take the ball, go down on one knee, and get out of there. Don't do what Pachargic, whatever his name was, with the Giants did, fumble it away and give the Giants a victory. You remember that, Tim?
Yes, I do, against the Eagles. But now you could see Henning there moments ago telling his quarterback, just cover the ball, guys. Meanwhile, clock was stopped at 21 seconds, and a few precious seconds for Miami got ticked off there.
Play has been reviewed. The play stands as ruled. Fumble, Atlanta's
Well, meanwhile, they had a look at that fumble on the instant replay.
That didn't take long.
Well, no, and it was clear that he was down. The old line goes, the ground can't cause a fumble. He had hit, and then the ball came loose, and so it is Atlanta ball.
The timekeeper reset 7 seconds.
And they will give Miami the seconds back,
but
7 of them.
You understand my point, Tim, is that had that been a fumble, and Miami goes down and wins this football game, then you realize then there's no sense in running a play. Not to get yardage, you don't need yardage. You can see they're resetting the clock, giving them 7 seconds. It puts it at 28. So you had 30 seconds per play. That's 90 seconds, and you were well within that just to run 2 plays, get out of here with your quarterback going down on one knee. See you later. We win.
Well, that's what they're going to do this time.
Get down.
Schonert.
Get down, Turk. You got to go down.
Start. And time will tick off. Don Shula finally says, okay, I concede. What a battle as the Miami Dolphins hung in there, but Atlanta comes into the Orange Bowl and wins it 20-14. For Terry Bradshaw, Tim Ryan saying so long from the Orange Bowl. Coming up next, the NFL Today wrap-up show with Brent Musburger. You've been watching CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League.
All right, Tim, thank you. Football's a hard game to figure out, isn't it? The Dolphins beat the Jets. Then today, they look almost inept against Atlanta down in the Orange Bowl. Now, a reminder that coming up next here on CBS is 60 Minutes. And as if the Iranian arms deal was not mind-boggling enough, there is also a $2 million sting operation that went along with it, and 60 Minutes will take a look at that tonight. You'll go to 60 Minutes, but quickly a scoring update. You're going to find this one hard to believe. The Philadelphia Eagles again are ahead of the Raiders. 3 times Randall Cunningham has thrown touchdown passes to Mike Quick. That was the one a short time ago that put the Eagles back ahead in that game. Now, Cincinnati has come back on Denver. The Broncos lead at 34-28. Atlanta, as you know, comes away with a win down in the Orange Bowl. The Rams shut down the New York Jets 17-3. New England comes back on New Orleans and wins. San Diego over Indianapolis this afternoon. Minnesota big over Tampa Bay. Buffalo holds off Kansas City. Cleveland in overtime over Houston. Mark Mosley with the game winner, a field goal. The Bears in overtime come away with a win 13-10. The Bears win the NFC Central Division title. The Redskins wrap up a playoff berth. They have clinched at least a wild card. Next Saturday here on CBS, Army-Navy, a traditional college football game, 2 p.m. Eastern Time. And after that, more tradition. You'll see Vinny Testaverde as he wins the Heisman Trophy live here on CBS after the Army-Navy game. So coming up next here on CBS is 60 Minutes. I'm Brent Musburger. So long, everybody.